When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Make we talk, people.
Good afternoon or good night to everyone who is watching us on the Make We Talk Jeopardy Virus YouTube channel. We're going to speak about what is going on between the Jamaican diaspora and Jamaica, the officials in Jamaica. This evening I have with me none other than retired FBI agent, talk show host, attorney at law Wilfred Rattigan. I also have with me Dr. Rupert Francis, head of the Jamaican Diaspora Crime Intervention and Prevention Task Force. We're also going to have Herbert Nelson Jr. coming on in a minute. We're going to start off this evening, Mr. Rattigan, with a news item that's heard all over Jamaica, wherein they're saying that Dr. Francis, is what the news item said. Whoa. Chairman of the Jamaica Diaspora Crime Intervention and Prevention Task Force, Dr. Rupert Francis says the government engagement with members of the Jamaican diaspora is faulty. This is among several. Hold on there. I'm sorry.
Rupert, there?
I do apologize if I don't know what's going on with my system here. Chairman of the Jamaican Diaspora Crime Intervention Prevention Task Force, Dr. Rupert Francis says the government engagement with members of the diaspora is faulty. This is among several concerns Dr. Francis declared in a letter to the Jamaican ambassador to the United States as remarks. We're going to play a clip in here that I hope it makes sense to everybody who's watching.
The December 27, 2023 letter detailed, among other things, the increasing state of public corruption in the country and the high level of violent crime. The diaspora group also chastised the government for what it says is its unfulfilled promise to include them in the country's political process and establish a mechanism where members have standing to sue the state. Dr. Rupert Francis says these are grave concerns for members of the Jamaican diaspora. He says his letter to Ambassador Marks is a call to action.
We said what we were going to do, and when I say we, I mean a number of us said we were going to do it, and we're going to do it because we want to bring attention to it so it does not appear as a 7-day or 9-day wonder. That's the whole purpose of the thought behind it, because we plan to make others understand that we're serious about this, and we believe that we should be treated as Jamaicans, real Jamaicans, not just Jamaicans who can send money down to Jamaica, really.
Dr. Francis says concerned members of the diaspora will also engage Jamaica's international partners to seek redress for their grievances. Dr. Francis also rubbished claims from the state minister in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Alando, Terrelonge, that the government has facilitated sufficient engagement with the diaspora over the last 2 years.
First of all, Mr. Terrelonge has just been around for about a couple of months, really. He doesn't really understand the diaspora moves. I don't think he does. for him to make a statement like that. I've been a member of the Diaspora and the council for nearly 4 years, but another 2. So I don't think he can speak to that because, you know, I have the record that I have for that period and the experience to tell you that that is not so. They've been spoken to and perhaps spoken down to, but not really advised and had a real meaningful discussion. Certainly I've not in fact had any meaningful discussions with Mr. Terrelonge at all.
Dr. Francis continued, saying the national diaspora policy, which was approved by Cabinet in 2022, has not been truly effective. The policy is a framework for enhancing diaspora-related strategies and initiatives that are mutually beneficial to Jamaica's national development and the well-being of its diaspora population.
The diaspora council policy is what should guide the way we operate in the diaspora, and I don't think it is guiding at this point in time because we have not seen certain things. Just a matter of what we can do as Jamaicans, what we can't do, the interfacing, that's not happened really under the diaspora policy. Yes, I understand it was passed by cabinet, but what has it actually done for us in the diaspora? We're just not effective. They've not really utilized our capacity or ability right throughout the diaspora. We have not, and that's what we need. We do have experienced people throughout the diaspora who can help the diaspora, right? But unfortunately, we have not been utilized as we should, especially when crime is a very significant one.
Dr. Francis, we're also going to play Mr. Rattigan, Dr. Francis, a clipping, a news item by the State Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Alando Terrelonge. We're going to play that clipping. But before we play that clipping, you want to comment on what was just said, Dr. Francis?
I think I was quite clear and quite succinct in what I was saying, and it's the views not only of myself, but the team that surrounds me, the teams that the tons of people that were out there, they have seen it, they want it, they desire it. The members of the diaspora and people in Jamaica too. They've reached out to me and said, this is what we need. We need to follow the diaspora policy that was outlined. It may not be perfect, but at least it's a start. We need dialogue, not because we're not begging for the dialogue. We should be working with each other, mutually inclusive, not exclusive. And I think that everyone would agree with that. So based upon what I said, I would not take back any word at all. And furthermore, Mr. Terrelonge cannot speak to this because Mr. Terrelonge, when he came to the diaspora, he went to England and he went to Canada. Why did he avoid the United States? Or even if he didn't, he was only here for a very short time. Okay, I would like to ask him that question, or I would like him to answer it.
Mr. Rattigan?
Yeah, good night, son. Thanks for having me. Regards to your listening audience, the viewing audience. You're asking me to make a comment about the Minister Terrelonge's statement.
No, hold on. No. We're going to play that next, but make a comment on what Dr. Francis gave to the media, because obviously they're saying that, go ahead for me.
No, what Dr. Francis gave to the media shouldn't be surprising to anyone, and I haven't heard anyone take issue with the issues he raised. He raised 4 issues. He raised one concerning public corruption. Second had to do with the high crime rate. The third had to do with the failure to provide service delivery. The fourth had to do with standing, that members of the diaspora, they don't have standing to bring lawsuits against politicians in Jamaica. I haven't heard anyone say, to any great effect, that those are false issues. That's why I'm saying it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, because these issues are well known. What I think they're upset, and what I think the brouhaha is about, is simply the fact that Mr. Francis didn't genuflect before these people and say, "Mother, may I?" He didn't. And there's a good reason why I believe he didn't. Because one of the main reasons, they've made it abundantly clear that they're not interested in what the diaspora has to say. And they've made that quite clear on numerous occasions. In fact, someone just reminded me tonight that it was just a few years ago when we had the Let's Connect town hall meeting under the auspices of the Jamaican embassy in Washington D.C. that Minister Chang, and I can quote his words. Minister Chang said, here we go. He said, Jamaica has some of the best, and this is a direct quote, by the way, I'm not paraphrasing. He said, Jamaica has some of the best crime fighting expertise in the world, and I cannot see any possible avenue to engage the diaspora expertise to help fight crime in Jamaica. And that's what he said. So I'm kind of surprised with that amount of confidence that they're having the crime problem. And I'm just being facetious. But what Dr. Francis said shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Like I said, they're upset because he's come out, and they've also said that it was an attempt to embarrass the government. No, that's a ridiculous statement.
Yes.
No embarrassment. You are embarrassed when you have secrets and you don't want people know and the secret them bust out. That's when you're embarrassed. You're embarrassed that your most private follies have become public. These things that Dr. Francis spoke about, they're public secrets. Everybody know. So it's simply a matter of the fact that Dr. Francis, and I agree with him, and I offer my support to him 100%. He did what I would have done.
You endorse the letter that Dr. Francis wrote?
100%. Because you see what the letter did. The letter was a departure from the normal stance. And what is the normal stance? The normal stance is you send a letter to them and you say, we would like to have an audience with you to talk about crime and to talk about this and to talk about that. And you are largely ignored. Let me just point out something to you in that letter. Dr. Francis said, look, here are the issues. And for the first time, I believe in the history of the diaspora's relationship with the Jamaican government, yes, someone said, and this is what we're going to do about the issues. He just didn't enumerate the issues. He identified possible ways to address them. And what did he say? What are the possible ways? He said, one, we're going to go talk to donor agencies, donor governments, donor organizations, politicians, foreign governments. We're going to talk to them about monies, aid being sent to Jamaica. And two, we're going to protest about the issues, the aforementioned issues. That is what got their attention, because I submit to you that if Dr. Francis had said, here are the 4 issues about crime, I want to talk to you. And if he hadn't mentioned those 2 things, there would be not even a peep about this. Instead, the silence would be deafening, because he wouldn't hear back from them at all, because they made it abundantly clear. We don't want you to talk to us about crime and all the issues going on in Jamaica. Just stay where you are, send the money, come down and give us speech based on our approval. But we don't want you here working with us. It's that simple. So I've said all of that to say this, that the reason why there appears to be controversy, because I don't think it's controversial, but the reason why there appears to be controversy about the letter written by Dr. Francis, simply because he said, we're sick and we're tired and we're going to do something about it. We're going to protest and we're going to talk to donor agencies, donor organizations, donor countries. Plain and simple.
Is it that they're afraid that the Jamaicans living overseas will go in front of the embassy and missions and consulate and create a uproar in the international community?
That's it. That's what I'm talking about, the protest, because it's gonna garner international attention. And for the first time, the international press, right? People from all different countries, they're gonna hear for the first, a lot of them for the first time, that Jamaica is led by corrupt people. They're gonna hear that. They're gonna hear that Jamaica is awash in corruption. When you have a prime minister coming on 3 years now. Well, let's give him the benefit of the doubt, because is the 2022-23 statutory declaration is not due until March 31st. But 2 years, the anti-corruption body that he established, they cannot verify his statutory declaration. Now, some people say, well, it could be for any reason. I dare say it's not for good reason. It shouldn't take them 2 years. In one instance, it's 2 years. And he said, oh, they're asking me questions, and oh, I'm going to report them, and by November, blah, 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 blah. We haven't seen or we haven't heard anything. But by the way, the Integrity Commission, they don't get a free pass. They don't get a pass from me either. Because they're also guilty of some transgressions in terms of their performance. It shouldn't take them 2 years to verify a statutory declaration. It shouldn't. But when you have something like that, right, and you bring that out, to the international media, and you say, look, here's a man who established this thing on the premise that Jamaica was going to do something about corruption, and them can't verify FEMA statutory declaration. When you have a man who asks for training from the anti-corruption unit, saying, I want training, you should even ask for training. This should be innate. This should be something that you say, if I'm getting into politics, I'm sorry.
No, continue.
Yeah, this is something that you should say, if I'm getting into politics and I'm doing it for the good of my people, I'm going to be upright and devout and above and beyond reproach. Not to mention salary, that's a separate issue. You shouldn't go in there for the money. He himself said that. And then what did he say? He said, you get the government where you pay for, right? So that's why we can't do anything, because we don't get enough money. But when you have somebody like that asking for training, anti-corruption training, receiving the anti-corruption training, and then when asked to sign a code of conduct, 7 principles, when asked to sign, and the code of conduct it's transparency, it's honesty, it's trustworthiness, it's leadership, those principles, good governance principles. And to date, not a single member of the cabinet has signed that document.
In fact, Mr. Rattigan, you have a document there with you with Nestor Morgan saying XQYZ in the about signing the code of conduct.
But it's like you're reading. It's like you have eyes over here, man. You have to look over the place and say, wait.
No. I don't have anything there.
Yeah. Yeah. He said, and I'll just read you. I won't take up much of the time because I know.
No, go ahead, man. We have enough time here. Go ahead.
But he said, while signing, this is the code of conduct that they were asked to sign by the Integrity Commission. Mm-hmm. He said, while signing an additional code of conduct could symbolize further commitment, it is equally important to recognize the substantial measures already in place to uphold integrity, governance, and accountability. It cannot be reasonable and fair for us to be intimidated and threatened to sign an additional code without even an iota of consultation. So he's saying the Integrity Commission is threatening us and they haven't consulted with us. They did consult with them. And in fact, they sent a letter to the Prime Minister saying, look, you and your cabinet, they need to sign this. They received notification. Then he went on to say, I am assuring the people that I am dedicated to upholding these principles and adhering to the existing codes and frameworks that govern our conduct. I am committed
and hold on there for me. That is the word of Robert Morgan, the Minister of Information.
Yes, indeed.
Go ahead.
And he said, I am committed to serving with transparency, accountability, and the utmost integrity, working towards the betterment of Jamaica as a people. And the last thing I'll read to you from that article is, he said, the responsibility rests not on me or the minister or the government to go out and seek this document, which is a damn lie, because the document was sent to the Prime Minister. What does he mean to go out and seek? It was provided to the Prime. It was also provided to the leader of the opposition, and 23 members of the opposition signed that document.
But if my memory serves correct, Mr. Rattigan, I think the minister was saying that he has not seen such document from the Ministry of from the Integrity Commission.
Not look. They sent the document to the Prime Minister, and they sent the document to the leader of the opposition. That document was transmitted, or should have been transmitted. So if he's saying he didn't see it, then shame on the Prime Minister. But Minister Morgan has no excuse because the Integrity Commission made it public. They said, yes, we sent it. So at that point, he should say, where's the document? I didn't get it. And they said, yeah, we gave it to the Prime Minister. So his job, instead of berating the Integrity Commission, he should have cried shame on the Prime Minister to say, look, you asked for this training. We received the training. They sent you the document for us to sign. Why is it you didn't why is it you didn't give it to us to sign? But he said, the responsibility rests not on me or the minister or the government to go out and seek this document. It is you meaning the Integrity Commission, whose mandate it is to craft codes of conduct. And that's true. So it is you who need to come and engage with me. You have never engaged with me on that matter. He received the damn training. What do you mean they never engaged with me on that matter? He received the training. I want to have these people understand English. English is my second language.
Or maybe the minister did not go to the training at all.
That's even worse because he's a minister of information. So how could he not go to? Well, if you didn't go to the training, then why didn't he ask? Why didn't he say, look, you know what? You guys are asking for this training for people to sign this code of conduct, and I did not receive the training. So give me the training and I'll sign the document. He never did. Mm-hmm. He never did. So as of today, that document has not been signed by any member of the government.
So what sort of example or precedent are they setting in the sense of Dr. Francis writing a letter about corruption and other things in the country? Isn't this a part of the corrupt practice of a government if you don't sign that, Mr. Rattigan?
If you receive this, you ask for the training, you receive the training, and now they're saying sign this document. There's nothing nefarious about it. The 7 principles. Oh, you know what's interesting? What's interesting is that my favorite minister, Minister Kamina Johnson Smith, aka Apina. And you know I was gonna segue to her, right? Well, this lady, she aspired to become the Secretary General of the Commonwealth. Now, What's interesting is that the same code of conduct, she would have to abide by it in the Commonwealth, in that position. She'd have to sign off on that. She won't sign the one in Jamaica, but she was prepared to sign one to take the job in the Commonwealth.
Continue talking, Mr. Rattigan. There's an alarm going off. Continue talking, please. Continue talking.
Yeah. You see how ridiculous this is. And so I have to give Dr. Francis it's just due. He's a very brave, very courageous man, and the idea of politics entering this fray is nonsensical. The idea that somebody would use that is nonsensical, because to the best of my knowledge, Dr. Francis, and I don't mean to expose his business, but I think it's well known that he has been and he continues to be a card-carrying member of the Jamaica Labour Party. In fact, and he will tell you that he ran in the general election at some point. Unfortunately, he lost, but he ran as a candidate for the Jamaica Labour Party. So now them can't come and say, well, a politics and with upon the opposition side and this and that and that. They cannot. They cannot. I just heard tonight that they're saying that, well, Dr. Francis was used. And that's so insulting to this man's intelligence and his credibility and his experience. It is so insulting to use that phrase to describe this man. It's never been used before, not by the government or government supporters, only now. And why now? Simply because the man is showing his true colors as a Jamaican. He's not only proud to wear green, he's also wearing black and gold or yellow. Yeah. That's what this man is a principled man. He's decided that, look, yes, I'm a card carrying member of the Jamaica Labour Party. I wear green, but I wear other colors as well. I wrap myself in the flag of Jamaica. That's what this man has done. And so we are not going to stand by idly or not and let them berate this man and drag him, his name, his reputation, something he's earned, he's worked very, very hard for, drag him into the gutter. Because you know why? This is one fight they cannot win. The facts are not on their side. The law is not on their side. And most of all, the people are not on their side.
And that note, we're gonna segue into what the minister of foreign affairs, junior minister of foreign affairs, shadow minister of foreign affairs rather, Alando Terrelonge said, and then we're gonna go into the legality or how should I put it now, Mr. Rattigan, give me some of your lawyer words there.
You're talking about the Global Diaspora Council. The legitimacy of the illegitimacy of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council. And we're going to talk about that tonight. And those members who drafted that letter berating our dear friend, our brother, right? Look, let me just say one thing. Dr. Francis and I, for example, we disagree on a lot of things. But on this issue, we find total agreement. And we disagree without being disagreeable. Right? He'll state his point, whether it's about history or art or geography or whatever it is, politics, whatever it is, right? When we disagree in a very civil manner. And we're still friends. He's still my brother, right? I would die for this man. And I know he would do the same for me. So we're not going to allow people to come in and, run ramshot over him. That's not going to happen. In the words of my favorite minister again, that will never happen. Tigo, my son. Go ahead.
I'm going to play. I have with us callers coming in now. But callers, bear with me. There is a video that I have to play, a news clipping from Television Jamaica that I have to play with the shadow minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Let me go to this video here because it is creating quite a storm. And, sometimes we wonder and ask ourselves the question, how is it that these people continue to serve the nation? Here is the video.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Shane Masters, and here are the details.
Oh, Jesus, sorry. Oh, there it is.
There seems to be a rift in the diaspora following a letter which was written by chairman of the Jamaica Diaspora Crime Intervention and Prevention Task Force, Dr. Rupert Francis. The letter criticizes the government on a number of issues, but the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council is distancing itself from the document. More in this report.
Oh, learn there for me. Lord. I do apologize for this. I do apologize. I'm going to get it. Just bear with me, please. We do apologize about this. Just bear with me, please. I trying to get this thing up and going. I'm not that high tech as Mr. Rattigan, Let's go back to this now.
Was it indeed a diaspora effort or not?
That's the question being asked following the position of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, who has said it is not in support of the letter written by Dr. Rupert Francis. The position of the Diaspora Council has been hailed by State Minister in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Alando Terrelonge. He says the letter written by Dr. Francis does not present the nature of dialogue and relationship the Jamaican government maintains with the diaspora via the council.
There is that degree of interaction. And so the letter that was written in response from the council, I thought the letter was most appropriate, in terms of disassociating the council from the content of the letter written by Mr. Francis, and also to indicate clearly that this did not come from us, and we really don't know on whose behalf Mr. Francis speaks.
The letter dated December 27, which was sent to Jamaica's ambassador to the United States, Andre Marks, outlines grave concerns about the increasing state of public corruption in Jamaica, the high level of violent crime, failure to provide promised service delivery, unfulfilled promises to the diaspora regarding its involvement in the political process, and the legal defense that diaspora members do not have standing to sue the government. Mr. Terrelonge says more clarity is required in relation to the claim about the government's failure to provide promised service delivery.
I saw the letter, and the letter did not indicate what these failed service deliveries are, so I am unable to comment on that. What I will say is that the government has certainly promised growth and prosperity, and Jamaica is in fact experiencing unprecedented growth and prosperity.
As for the issues relating to crime, Mr. Terrelonge says those are being addressed with significant investments in the security force.
There are many persons in the diaspora who recognize that billions of dollars have been spent to buy speedboats and new ships to combat the drugs for gun trade and to protect our borders. You're talking about security cameras across many of our highways and byways. You're also talking about more police officers being trained. You're talking about increased use of technology.
What I want to know though, let me see if I can get this thing off of here. Yes. Mr. Rattigan will soon be back with us. Dr. Francis, you want to comment on what the gentleman just said? And I'll have Jamaican callers come in. Unmute your mic for me, sir.
What I would call it is hoot nanny, and you might wonder what that is.
Yes.
That means wondering what the minister said is really, I can't call the right word that I would love to call, but hoot nanny. The minister is out of his depth. First of all, I have had more experience than the minister at this level in terms of and it's not just being facetious, at the diaspora. I'm working with the diaspora. And he knows that. He should know that by now. So when I say something in terms of the diaspora, engagement, I know about engagement. I've been a representative for them in the West Midwest, and I came back around, and I've also been volunteering and so on and so forth. You have to be able to grasp what the intention of the diaspora was and is. And we have to understand that we have to set up a relationship, a real integral relationship, not one that you say we have, what Jamaica aspires for the diaspora, what the diaspora aspires for itself. Literally, the diaspora is a Jamaican, it works on its own as Jamaican. It is implanted. The people there, literally, most of them are implanted by the government of the day, right? And what kind of a relationship is that? If you have the government of deciding what your policies are going, creating the policy and then executing the policies at the same time, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so and the idea that I'm being utilized and used by someone is ridiculous. I mean, I'm not talking. I'm just not. I was in the military. I've trained in the military. I'm a trained professor, etc., etc. I mean, come on. Do you think I'm going to be allowed? I have the conscience of a Jamaican. I have the foresight, what shall I say now? That desire to see our homeland in a better place, whether 2030 away and beyond, for the future. Why would I give up what I have built over the years, for what? No. I made a decision, a conscious decision, that we need to go, not I alone, by the way, a lot of us, you'll be surprised. Go on social media, but anyway, and many people, you're going to see these people decided that we need a different way of addressing issues in the diaspora. And the way the government has prescribed is not the way we want to be going forward. It's as simple as that. And what Mr. Rattigan is saying, for example, I have known this man for several years, and I'm telling you this. One thing we do is we try not to break any laws. Okay, we are very committed to Jamaica, and there are many Jamaicans out there who will run up their mouth, but they are not as committed as we are. We are on the 24/7 working on issues for Jamaica at no expense at all, and we offered long time ago. We have evidence of offer to the Jamaican government, and they have never looked at it. They've never taken it up. Why? Because they want to have things their way. In other words, they call it own way in Jamaica. That's not how this runs. It has to be run. We have a future. Our children have to be taken into consideration, because in another 10, they're the ones who are going to be running what is going on. How can they know without the proper type of leadership structure that's in place to provide that? Right? There is just no possibility. And maybe that's what some people want, to keep our people dumb and dumber. It's not going to happen. Not on our watch. We have a responsibility to make sure it does not happen as true Jamaicans and people who love their country. Okay, so let them prove it. If they think that they're, but the people are saying no. Go out there. Please continue speaking, because the more you guys say it, the more people rise up and say no. I had at least 20, 30, 40 calls today supporting the position that we have taken collectively. So I am not going to say anything more until we move forward. Yes, I hope that answers.
I'm going to ask you some more before. Please don't leave us. But let us go to Carlos. Carlos, based on that video clip that you just watched and listened to, what is the views on what the shadow minister is saying, that members of the Jamaican diaspora are not in agreement, in a sense, with the letter that Dr. Francis wrote?
Well, just want to say, just before Carlos, I just want to make one point clear. Those two places that the report come from, that is from the Minister of Minister of Foreign Affairs. This is not from those people. I know them. They would not have given carte blanche like that in very short order. They made it up because they think they own the diaspora. And that's one more thing I want to say. Go ahead, sir. Sorry.
Go ahead, Carlos.
Well, good evening, everybody. The audience. Dr. Francis, manners and respect, brother. Continue doing the work you're doing, and I'm proud of you. Jeffrey, thanks for the opportunity. Now, after listening to that man, me read him statement today. First of all, let's talk about what he wrote today. He posted something today. And I don't think this man is ready to represent us in the diaspora.
Go ahead, talk about it.
Yeah, I don't think this man is ready to represent us in the diaspora as yet, because guess what, people? If you go and look at that statement, it seems as if that man copied and pasted it. Sometimes the same thing over 2 and 3 times the same thing you've been reading. So if Mr. Terrelonge, in an instant like this, when everybody is up in a frenzy behind this one letter, and Mr. Terrelonge can show us a little bit of respect, to give us a little bit of his time and sit down and pen a good statement, he have to go and copy and paste the same talking point that they all be using. Go on his page and look if Mr. Terrelonge don't copy and paste the same talking point. Sometimes more than one time, people, I don't know who was doing it, if they didn't see that them copy the stuff twice and all that on the page. And that the type of respect Mr. Terrelonge have for us in the diaspora. Huh? That's your copy and paste thing. Your statement you gave is a copy and paste mess. You couldn't sit down. Give us some of your time. We are not that important to you, Mr. Terrelonge, that you have to go.
Or maybe what we should do, Carlos, is invite the goodly gentleman in the Make We Talk program. Minister Terrelonge, if you're hearing us, or anybody who know Minister Terrelonge. I know my good friend Chopper. maybe watching us. Chopper, if you can get Minister Terrelonge on the program here to come and speak to us of what he's saying, that Dr. Francis is standing alone with this letter. Go ahead, Carlos.
Well, that I left up him on the program to talk to him. And another thing again, Jeffrey, is that he did not really address anything that Dr. Rupert placed in that letter. No problem, none of the issues. All he keep doing is just singing and dancing and playing the violin, which is not going to work for us anymore. He did not really address none of our problems in it. Another thing he said again is like basically Dr. Rupert is on his own. Like you don't hear nobody else in the diaspora saying that. Hold on, what is it? Is it the 30 members of your team you're talking about? Because I look in comment section and I see most of the people in comment section on my page and other bloggers' page, they are on Dr. Rupert's side. So I don't know what this brother is talking about. But I hope them show some love, because if it wasn't for this letter, many of us would know about this diaspora group that they claim that they have. If it wasn't for this letter, I would know that. Nobody know about this group. They don't represent us. Nobody know about them. How is it they are here and nobody know about them? And what are they here doing? And why they are so hurt behind this letter? And in their letter, in the statement that they make, I hear them talking about them working on money, like donation money, beg money for the youths and prison and stuff like that. A lot of these donations that we get in Jamaica, I don't see it reach the people. So why don't they just stop right now and address the issue of corruption that and Dr. Francis stated in his letter? Why we don't address the issue of crime? Why we don't address each of these 5 points one by one and fix Jamaica and hear we out? We in the diaspora, we stand with Mr. Francis because of the same thing he must say, we see crime, he must see it.
But
he must see
Jamaican caller, sorry to be cutting you. But some may say that Jamaica is dubbed by foreign entities or by tourists to travel to Jamaica is the most safest place to travel to.
Well, you know, say number one, these tourists them trying to sell all inclusive.
Continue talking. Go ahead, continue talking.
And I know that this is a thing for a fact. They are telling the tourists they are not responsible for them, for their safety, if they go beyond these gates. And all inclusive is the best. You can also see, let's talk about tourism. Tourists are more safer than us. You know that already. They do everything to protect the tourists. Even water, hotels don't run out of water. But right there in Negril, we have natives living there. They don't have the water while the big giant hotels have water. So you know we get a different kind of treatment. So I think it should be a different thing. Them should fight crime. No crime, not fight, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, I went to Jamaica. People are telling me no crime, not fight. I've seen it. We've been saying the same thing from up here. Tourists are safe. Yes, they are. But we aren't. And that's bottom line.
Brother Coom, Jamaican callers, you're totally right. I mean, it's impossible not to see it from your perspective. We have to understand that there are two Jamaicas really, and so long as some people are all right, they don't give a hoot, and that's why I say it's a hoot nanny. We need to understand that we cannot run Jamaica by ourselves. And certainly, if we run away the young people or the young people get involved in crime, how are we going to resolve our issues for employment? Are we going to import people like we did, in the old days? Is that what we're going to do? Get people in there who's going to work from other countries and what have you? No, we cannot afford that when we have people who are quite capable of working in our society. Okay, so, I don't understand what they're talking about. Mr. Terrelonge, he doesn't understand this business of diplomacy, this business of the diaspora. And as a matter of fact, I think they must have learned from the others because they are not seeking to improve the conditions of the average Jamaican. And that's the whole point. And they are ashamed to know. Well, they know, but they don't want to know that, you know, this is a new a new era when we have to move forward and stop about guessing and do things the correct way. We are, listen to me. They talk about, I heard something today that in one of the reports that they are importing less than who are they talking to? The most of the chickens and the pig trotters and all that stuff is being imported.
I heard that.
We're
I
not
heard that.
chicken, Kentucky Fried Chicken. You know, what are these people talking about? Right?
I don't know. This man, Mr. Terrelonge, said, people, I want you to get it clear what Dr. Francis is saying. He's saying a statement that Mr. Terrelonge made. Him saying that, people, we are exporting more and importing less.
Mm-hmm.
What the man said? We are exporting more people. Is that a true statement? So
yes.
these are feel good. He's coming out with. This is always addressing this letter coming from the diaspora with a bunch of, so like some lies to us. And they know that we don't believe that. We are no kids no more. We are no child no more. We are not some illiterate people anymore. Come to us like we have some sense. Just like the statement that you wrote, your written letter is copy and pasted, and they make so many mistakes. You paste the same thing over and over. Shows no respect. Shows that you can put a little bit of time in our issue. We have a problem with Jamaica and how it run, and Mr. Terrelonge could not sit down and type a letter. The talking point that was sent to you and circulating, you copy and paste it until you copy and paste it more than one times. Bad, not right.
No, because them take us a dummy. That's what they do. They're taking us for a dummy. And that's the issue. Jamaicans, wake up. You can't take this. This is foolishness. Make we talk about that. Let them understand. And listen to me, if you open the earliers, no, and people, because there are more people out there who are aware. I have received so many calls, I cannot believe it, from all over the place, right? Because they want to know what is going on, how they can. And the ones who are not talking, they're afraid. So what are they afraid of? Right? And they have a reason to be. Because in Jamaica, life is just so cheap. You know what I mean? So cheap. So I don't know how they're gonna fix that, because it's the truth is out there. And don't tell me because you're 9% or 9 less murders this year than last year, it is an improvement. What are you talking about? 9 in a population of 2.7 million people. We are number 2 or number 3 in the world in murders. And you're trying to talk about crime is everywhere. Well, let me give you a statistic. Herb is not here, but let me give you one.
He's on his way. He's coming on now.
Okay, fine. But with all the murders in the United States, and in terms of mass shooting, they are 6% or less than 7% of 100,000, and we are almost 52%. Right? 52%. Ask Ratty if you want to. Oh, Ratty thought I never know that. Of course I know that. It is a clear thing.
Hello.
So you look at the country, so you're telling me we have a problem. So admit it instead of trying to make me out to be the liar and make me out to be the person who can be manipulated. How can I be manipulated? Am I living better than I was living before I was manipulated? Am I living the same way? Am I driving the same car? Okay, why don't you try manipulating me, Mr. Terrelonge, and see? Make sure you have a Rolls Royce, and maybe 2. And when we take your money, I'm going to name it in front of you, and still disrespect you. So continue, if you want. All right, sorry about. I didn't want to go into my Rothschild lifestyle, but sometimes you have to tell them how it is. Stop the foolishness. You don't know me. You don't understand me. You never know me. You don't have any history, and I don't have a history. There are people there that I care for. A lot of people I care for down in Jamaica and everywhere, and they know it, and they know my character. So why are you don't tell me something that I really don't know? Tell me something that I've done that I've, come on, do it. And then we can talk.
Dr. Francis, I know I asked you this question last time, but let me ask this question again. Because I know people out there may be saying that they already said that Wilfred Rattigan have a political motive because he didn't get the commission of police. They're already talking about that stupidness there. But let me ask you this question, Dr. Francis. People are saying within the diplomatic runs and the political affair of Jamaica, they're saying that maybe Dr. Francis need a seat in the parliament, or he needs to get, a little recognition from the government. What is the views in that, sir?
Listen to me. I want you to ask if Dr. Chan, just call him and ask him. Ask him if he didn't ask me if I wanted a seat, when I know that it was more than likely it was a sure win. And they asked him what I told him. I told him that I have my children, right? And I have a fantastic job at the university, making good money, right? And I lost a daughter, and I don't want to lose anymore. And him look at me, and for a while, as if, what is this man saying? But I'm going to tell you another bigger joke than that. But many people don't know. The Prime Minister, I don't even think he knows. When Eddie Seaga was in opposition in the 80s, early 80s, when everything was going on, he had an office on Knutsford Boulevard in a tall building. I shared the same building with him. And he asked me the same question. And at that time, they knew that they were not going to be, there was a snap election. And many people got, like Derek Smith and all that, they got like a seat for, you know what I mean? And Glenn Webley, my colleague, and all that, you know what happened there. And I said to him, sir, why would I want to be a minister of government? How I'm head of Mutual Life, making a lot of money, about maybe $1 million, $2 million, I can't remember, Jamaican dollars at the time. And I'm saying to you, how can I make money like that? How can I? And he rocked back in his chair and him laughed me to scorn. And I'm saying, why did he do that? I'll turn like a military man and come out of my office, right? Because he knew, he may know something I didn't know. And now I know what I know and how, you know what I mean? So do I have any regrets? Absolutely none.
Let's switch gear here now. Wilfred Rattigan is back with us.
Yes.
We shared it. Listen to the clip. We share the video. Show the video of Minister Terrelonge and so forth. We're gonna switch to the diaspora now. Registration and so forth. Wilfred Rattigan, give us some more on that. I'm not hearing you. Not hearing you at all.
Yeah, talk to me now about what? Sir?
Yes, the is it oh Lord, I cannot is that FISA? Is the thing that General Flynn did, man, and it was in the report.
Oh, you're talking about the FARA.
FARA, yes, FARA.
Yeah. Well, before we go any further, let me just I apologize for leaving, but I just say that to the audience because you know why I had to take care of something. But you said something a while ago before we even talk about Pfizer. You said something a while ago where you said that if I were the author of the letter, then people would say that it's political.
Right.
Right. All right. Let me just say this for everybody. I've said it. I haven't said it enough, just a few times. But let me just be absolutely clear, because they said, "Oh, because you never get the job and this and that." If the fact that I didn't get the job of police commissioner, if that is a reason for me to be political, then people, I'm political about both parties. If that was a reason for me to hate the JLP, then I would hate the PNP. Because you know why, folks? Both parties, I applied for the job under both governments, JLP government and PNP government. So
both
the idea
administration.
I beg your pardon?
Both administration.
Both administrations. First time I applied, it was Prime Minister Portia Simpson, and the second and the other two times it was with it's with this government. So if I had that in my craft, there's something like that they said, oh, you know, you never get the job, and that's why I'm gonna go so hard against the JLP. Then what you say about the PNP? People forget to me to apply when the PNP was in power. All right, you want to talk about FARA now, right?
Yes. What is FARA? Explain what is FARA to us, and go into details, please.
Well, FARA actually, it means the Foreign Agent Registration Act. And we talked about it on the program a while back, but just as a refresher, if what it is that if you're a U.S. person, if you're a U.S. citizen, green card holder, whatever, and you're working for a foreign principal, no, that can mean a foreign government, a foreign corporation, or whatever, then you're required, except for certain exceptions, you're required to file with the U.S. government and tell them what you're doing with the with this foreign principal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this case, the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, first of all, I don't even know if it's a registered company or entity. And if it's registered, I don't know where it's registered.
I have been digging deep and I don't see anything either.
So now we want to know this Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, this what do you call it? This creature of somebody's imagination, because we can't find a registration for this entity. And also we want to know if it's registered, who is the registrant? Who registered this? Now, the FARA law says that you have to report to the U.S. government your involvement with the foreign entity, your foreign principal, they call it, foreign principal.
Yes.
So all of these 28, now 30, I've gathered members of, well, actually the ones in America, they are supposed to, because they have regularly scheduled meetings where they talk about a range of issues, right? They are supposed to inform the U.S. government. There's a FARA filing form, the same one that Fin Partners filed when they told the U.S. government about their interaction with Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith as an individual, not even as a government official, as an individual. They're supposed to fill that out and let the government know the extent, the duration, the nature of their interactions. They're supposed to do that. If you don't do that, if you intentionally refuse to do that, then there is a 5-year penalty, and I think it's $25,000, something like that. Up to 5 years in prison, and $25,000.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all of these people in America, they are potentially exposed.
What people you're talking about?
Criminal sanction. The members of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council in America, if they have not reported their interactions, their relationship with this Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, they run the risk of being prosecuted by the Department of Justice. Now, the Department of Justice, for a long time, they weren't looking at this issue until who? General Flynn and Mr. Manafort.
Yes.
Right? Those two were charged under that statute for their engagement with foreign entities, foreign governments, and not filing the form, not telling the government. Right? And the thing about it is that it looks backwards. So if you file today, they can look backward and say, well, wait a minute, you didn't file last year and the year before or whatever, and you can still be charged. Now, I've raised this issue for years now with these folks, the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council folks. I've raised it with them and I've said, listen, you guys need to get legal counsel who can guide you through this maze and figure out how you get to your destination, because it could cause some heartburn. If the U.S. government decided tomorrow that, look, we want to figure out what's going on with this Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, and they pull up the files and they say that nobody filed, that could be problematic for them. Could be a very big problem for them. So, and especially if since this, we don't know if it's even registered here in the U.S. But one thing we do know that it's controlled by the Jamaican government. And how do we know that? Because in their terms of reference, it clearly says so.
Let me ask you this question now, Mr. Rattigan. Is the diaspora controlled by the Jamaican government?
Yes.
All right. And if I'm a member, I'm the head of Northeast, whatever, United States. And if I don't say certain things to Pfizer, X, Q, Y, Z, that I'm a part of a foreign government, the implication will be what?
You're exposed. I mean, if you look in the chat, you see where Lion says that the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council is a clandestine embassy of the Jamaican government in the US. Some people could perceive it as that because they're like, well, wait a minute, especially if it's not registered and they're meeting with Jamaica, and they're meeting with Jamaican government officials on a regular basis. They could say, well, wait a minute, hold on, what's going on here? And so people would be, and look, and I tell you what, just to give you, the benefit of my experience, the U.S. government could, oh, by the way, people, there's something called a poison pen letter. Anybody could write to the Department of Justice and say, hey, we believe that this organization, Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, is a clandestine entity set up by the Jamaican government, and they're using people with dual citizenship, Jamaican and the U.S., to conduct all kinds of nefarious things. Just a simple letter like that would cause an investigation. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Even if the U.S. government went in and they couldn't find anything, because they're digging into these people, they're digging into them deep. God bless you if you have something in your past where you don't want them knowing them go come across it, because they could start out looking into this, and the next thing you know, you get arrested for something else, right? So that poison pen letter, and I'm not suggesting anybody send out a poison pen letter. I'm just saying that's one way of getting the attention of the U.S. government, right? But it's controlled by the Jamaican government, and without going into too much detail, the person in charge of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council is not a member of the diaspora. I repeat. The person in charge of remember now, this is supposed to be our thing, thing, right? Because Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, the way it reads, it sounds like, okay, it's the Jamaican diaspora all over the globe, right? And we run things. But I repeat, the head of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council is not a member of the diaspora.
What do you mean by that, Mr. Rattigan?
The head of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council does not live outside of Jamaica. So the person in charge of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council is none other than the junior minister in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. That person is the head of the organization. Head Minister of the diaspora organization. I beg your pardon?
Minister Terrelonge.
Yes, indeed.
Let me add something. I want to add something to that.
Go ahead. Herb. Welcome, Sir Herb.
Okay, welcome.
Look yourself, John Travolta or Herb Travolta.
Herb,
also, greetings to your listeners. Yeah, I've got a cousin, Dr. Clovis Nelson, who is a JLP man who has some disagreements, and I'm urging him to come on and say his piece, but I don't know if he's gonna do it. But listen,
Herb, adjust the camera, Herb. Adjust the
okay, that better?
Put it up more.
No, up a bit more.
Because we're not seeing your face at all.
Up. You're not?
Up. Yeah, that's good.
There you go.
Up. All right, Herb.
I've had to use my phone, because this damn computer ain't doing it. I don't know what's wrong. But listen, I am in the Library of Congress, CRS reports, Congressional Research. And I'm looking at who is exempt from FARA. FARA provides the following entities are not required to register under the Act. News or press services engage in bona fide news or journalistic activities. right? Or they say anyone who's organized under the laws of any U.S. jurisdiction, at least 80% beneficially owned by U.S. citizens, run by officers and directors who are U.S. citizens, not owned, directed, supervised, controlled, subsidized, or financed by any foreign principal or agent. Foreign diplomats, consular officers, or other recognized officials and staff. Right?
They're
These
exempt.
are exempt people. So when you check it out, Ratty, the head of the group is Minister Terrelonge, and 3 out of 4 positions of the heads are who? People at the ministry.
Correct. They're Jamaican government officials.
Yeah, so it doesn't meet any of the exemption requirements. Not one. You know?
So they're in serious shebang.
Well,
No,
you know, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, but you know, to add to what Herb said, as somebody with a little bit of foreign counterintelligence experience, one of the things, if I were the FBI looking at this issue, right, I would look to see, okay, if it's the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, who are they aligned with? And once I come across this fact that the headquarters for the Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Ministry was built by the Chinese government, I have some serious heartburn over that. That these people here, people in the US, talking to these people, and some of these conversations are going into that building. I would have some serious problems. They would have to answer. There are some serious questions to ask. There, Herb.
Now, you know, it says an agent must act within the United States in one of the following ways: engaging in political activities in the interest of a foreign principal, which FARA defines to include any activities believed or intended to influence U.S. government or public about U.S. policy or other foreign interests. Acting as a publicity agent or political consultant in the interest of the foreign principal, right? Soliciting, collecting, or dispersing money or other things of value in the interest of a
Hold
foreign.
on, Mr. Herb. You said money a while ago.
Yeah, this is defining who is a foreign agent.
Hold on there
right?
for me though. Quick question for Wilfred Rattigan. Remember we're gonna say, Sir Herb.
Yeah.
It was brought to the attention of many people that there was a big party in Washington D.C. when the Prime Minister was here, where some people of the effluence of society went to have a dinner with him and pay how much money for the play? Mr. Rattigan?
Yeah.
Based on what Mr. Herb said a while ago about money and so forth, wasn't there a big party in Washington where people have to pay a certain amount of money per plate to see the Prime Minister?
You mean at the Waldorf?
Yes.
That thing. Yeah, I'm trying to find some documentation here. But the interesting thing about FARA is that you don't even have to get no money. You don't have to get any money. And Lion again put Global Jamaica Diaspora spying for a foreign affairs headquarters built by China. Them just bring down trouble upon themselves and now them go mess with her and mess with Rupert, you know. Them don't know what them doing now.
So Sir Herb, continue for me, please. Because it sounds very interesting. Continue.
Who is a foreign principal? FARA defines foreign principal to include governments of foreign countries, foreign political parties, entities organized under the laws of a foreign country or having their principal place of business in a foreign country, and persons outside the United States who are not U.S. citizens domiciled in the United States, right? Who is a foreign agent? FARA's definition of an agent of a foreign principal has three necessary components that focus on the type of influence exerted over the agent, who is wielding influence over the agent, and the activities the agent is performing as part of this relationship. So, based on what Mr. Rattigan has described, these members of this council are in fact foreign agents, because the control is being wielded from outside the country, right? And it's being wielded by a political party or the government of Jamaica. First, an agent must act at the order, request, or under the direction or control of another. The Second Circuit has recognized that the exact parameters of a request under the Act are difficult to locate, falling somewhere between a command and a plea, which is what happened. They make pleas, right? Holding that no single factor is determinative, the court determined that once a foreign principal establishes a particular course of conduct to be followed, those who respond to its requests for complying action may properly be found to be agents under the Act. This is a broader conception of agency that courts traditionally apply in other areas of law, where a request may not be enough to establish the agent's action, subject the principal to legal liability. Second.
So hold on here. In other words, if I'm getting this right, the Jamaican government have members of the Jamaican diaspora up for legal liability. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
So all of those people of the effluence of society in the diplomatic realms in the United States, of the Jamaican diaspora, who love to wield their power and so forth, they're at risk.
Yeah.
Wilfred Rattigan, I should have continued with Herbert.
Look, they are at risk because if they do what the government is asking them to do, and people are harmed by that activity, they're liable to be sued because they're U.S. persons.
No, not sued, Herb. Charged.
Charged, yeah.
Because it's not a civil action, it's a criminal action.
Criminal action, yeah.
No, let me just add to what Herb said to say that the chairperson of this global diaspora, Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, the junior minister in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Herb was talking about power. He has the power. Remember now, folks, this is a diaspora supposedly a diaspora organization, but we don't run it. It's run by the government of Jamaica. And guess what? The government of Jamaica in 2020, they had 28 members when they started this thing out. There are 28 members to this council. Guess what? Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith, aka Pina, and the ministry, they appointed 20 out of the 28. It's our organization, you know. And them appointed 20 out of the 28. Since then, when them do them appoint now, them appoint half. We have 28, them gone to 30 now, but them used to appoint 14 out of the 28. Now, this person who's also the chair who run our diaspora organization, this person had the power to terminate the appointment of a member.
So hold on there. You're saying to me that Kingston, Jamaica has the power to terminate a John Jubeli, who is for the Northeast Division of the United States.
It says here, right here, in section 11, it says the chair may terminate the appointment of a GJDC member, and it gives a whole bunch of reasons as to why them can do it. But let me just add a few more things to what Herb pointed out regarding the FARA. It says the FARA is written so broadly that if read literally, it could potentially require almost anyone who has a relationship with a foreign principal to register. Now it says there does not need to be a foreign government client. You don't need a foreign government. In this case, we have a foreign government, which make it easier. There does not need to be a written contract. You don't have to have a contract.
So
there does not need
hold on, Wilfred Rattigan. Remember what I'm going to say. I'm not cutting off Mr. Rattigan viewers. But we need to get this thing correctly. So, Mr. Rattigan, what you're saying right now, that members of the Jamaican diaspora who don't sign any contract with the Jamaican government, but, in other words, they're still in it, they can be charged.
They can be charged. There does not need to be a written contract. And there does not need to be any payment of a fee. You don't have to get any money. It could be volunteer work, right? And it says a mere request from a foreign person or entity, such as a foreign government official, etc. A mere request for help setting up meetings with U.S. government officials could trigger registration. So all of them people who like the reps them who set up meetings with government officials for this thing, big problem. Kumbolo. Big problem. Right? And it says a request a request from a foreign person or entity to provide advice regarding how best to influence U.S. policy or U.S. public opinion could trigger registration. So if they want to ask questions, just to ask advice, if the council asks the members for advice as to how to best to influence a certain policy with State Department to get aid or something like that, big problem. Me, I want them for a long time, you know. Huh?
Go ahead, sorry, go ahead.
A long time I want them, you know. And them I watch, including the current Northeast rep. I've spoken to her and I've told her in public that you need to get legal counsel, legal advice concerning your role as to whether or not you need to file with FARA. I've said it, I've been saying it for years, but I've been largely ignored. But they ignore me at their own peril. Because, like I said, it could be a situation where there's a bad relationship between the US and Jamaica, or it could be a situation where somebody just file a poison pen letter, and that would cause it. That would trigger it.
What's a poison pen letter?
Okay, a poison pen letter is where what would I call, like, you know, like as a result of bad mind, where somebody could just write the US, they could write the Department of Justice and say, listen, I think that there are some foreign agents working on behalf of the Chinese government through their interactions with the Jamaican government officials in the US. That would be a huge problem. And if they can say, well, they're working out of an embassy, out of a building that was built by the Chinese, we believe that it's compromised and information is going back and forth. Or even if they don't even use the Chinese piece and just say, well, look, we have people here that are meeting with Jamaican government officials on a regular basis and they're taking directions from them. And the group is headed by a foreign government. And these people are not registered. They haven't registered with the Department of Justice. Big investigation.
So Mr.
The 8 town I talk to, you know.
Go ahead.
8 town I talk to, you know. The 8 people, 8 or whatever the number is in America. Be very careful. Be very careful. Because what happened, you see, when things start go wrong, you know, the Jamaican government now go help, you know. On the pound own. And when prison term come for people serve, not go serve it because them have diplomatic immunity. Right? The most can happen to them is that them declare them persona non grata and kick them out of the country. That's the worst. But for you not have nowhere to go except prison. So, I mean, I want to know from
ask this question. I'm going to call us coming in, Herbert. Let me ask this question. So, for those who have served before Mr. Rattigan, are they in problem too?
Yeah, because it looks back. This is a statute that looks back. It doesn't look forward. It doesn't look present to forward. It also looks back and say, well, who was here and who was in charge, and did anyone ever file? and why didn't they file? And so there'll be, there'll be some investigation, there'll be some interviews, and some people may just plead guilty because they may plead guilty to a misdemeanor, which a misdemeanor will take you up to a year in prison. And I think it's like a $5,000 fine. But if you willfully do it, then no, you're talking about 5 years in prison and a $25,000 fine.
So hold on here. I'm gonna call us. We're gonna come in, calls. But this is so sweet that you have to, So let me say this. Let me ask this question also, Mr. Rattigan. Lord, I lose my train of thought. But for those who are up here now, who are getting instruction from Jamaica, Duke Street, it's not Duke Street. Where the front of first building is on again?
Little Port Royal Street.
Little Port Royal Street. Those who are getting instruction from them, read the Jamaican diaspora to organize meetings of the Vumva, the Vumva V, and all those things. They're in serious problem.
Potentially.
Why is the word potentially?
Potentially because if the U.S. government doesn't know about it, then no investigation will ensue. But if they're made aware of it, at the very least, they're going to have to ask some questions and start talk to some people and figure out what's going on. Why haven't they filed? Because clearly they should have filed. And again, do I know the 30 people, Ron? Yeah, that's easy. You just look them up. Just look. When you say the 30 people, are you referring to he's referring to the council? Yeah, yeah. If you just Google it, they'll give you the name and the representatives. I mean, give you the name and give you the areas that their constituencies. They'll give that. You'll find that there. Them too bright till them dunce. That's right, OT.
So for those people, those 30 people who decide that they are not on board with Dr. Rupert Francis because he doesn't speak on the behalf of them, they're in serious chibangarang.
Listen, sometimes they must say things and leave it alone, right? And them go fast with this. Yeah, they must say things and them say what the saying go that
see people business and leave it alone.
A bag, I don't know if you don't open it, leave it alone.
Yes.
Something like that.
Bongla enough for me, don't pull it.
Right, bongla enough for you, don't pull it. See, them come now, and all of them, and now we can say with surety that all of them, based on the letter, the communication they sent out yesterday, that all of them, right, they've chosen to be with them, because it's either you're with us or you're with them, and they've chosen to be with them. Us meaning all of us and Dr. Francis, because what Dr. Francis did,
the real diaspora, you should say.
You know what? I need to point something out. As you mentioned that, did you talk about the numbers in my absence, Jeffrey? You talk about the numbers?
No, I haven't.
All right. Folks,
call us. Write what you're going to say. Now call us. Write what you're going to say. Write it down.
Go ahead. No. All right, call us. All right. Thanks, God.
Ratty. Yeah. Why these people put them head out for the train line? I don't know why they put them the line, Ratty. Them should have keep it where it is. I think them trying to soil up Dr. Francis. And this thing is not looking good for them. And one other thing, Ratty, is that if there's a case of the Chinese government of police station all in Canada and all about, right? To police the people them in the West, right? So even though the people them leave China and come into the West, then follow these people. I want to keep these people down. No, I wonder for the same thing the Jamaican government is trying to do. Things that were stupid enough for them to control everything is our diaspora things, and them call all the shots and them set the meeting and the pace. Is that what's going on here? Over to Ratty.
Those are good questions. Those are very good questions, and we need some answers. I'm trying to find the hold on a second. I'm trying to find the article where
go ahead, sir.
Ambassador Ward.
Why are you looking, Ratty? Let me say this. One other definition of foreign agent An agent must act at the behest of either one, a foreign principal, or two, a person whose activities are directly or indirectly supervised, directed, controlled, financed, or subsidized in whole or in a major part by a foreign principal. Some lower courts have held that an entity that receives foreign funding and acts to the benefit of foreign interests is not required to register under FARA unless the foreign funder subjects the recipient to its direction or control. So, is that council under the direction or control of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs? When you have 3 out of 4 people running things from that ministry, then they're under their direction and control. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. But there is a reporting and record-keeping requirement. Because I remember Mr. Rattigan was saying earlier, I don't know if he said it on this show, that the government is saying that they can keep activities secret. But if you have record-keeping requirements, Ratty, shouldn't that record-keeping requirement be subjected to U.S. FOIA, Freedom of Information Act requests?
Yes.
It can be subjected to Jamaica's ATI because it's right here in the U.S.
That's true. Except that they said here in their terms of reference, they say here that whatever is discussed. Now, people, keep this in mind. You vote for these people to represent your interest as a member, as a member of the diaspora. And in their terms of reference, they say that whatever they talk about in the council, them not have to tell you nothing. That it's confidential. They don't have to tell you. No, how does that work? Them represent you. They might take your interest to discuss your interest there. And it says that, no. Them can't tell you anything what happened there. They can't tell you because it's confidential. How does that make any sense? How does that make any sense? It makes absolutely no sense at all.
That is why there was an uproar about the same thing some time ago.
Now, this says that covered entities must file a registration statement with the DOJ within 10 days of becoming an agent of a foreign principal. The registration statement must include, among other information, the name and address of every foreign principal for whom the agent is acting. That means Ministry of Foreign Affairs, National Security, or whichever ministry they're acting on behalf of, right? A comprehensive statement of the activities to be performed by the agent on behalf of the foreign principal.
So hold on there for me. Sorry to cut you. So that means the former Minister of Education who came to the United States. You know where I'm going with this?
Yep.
If he did not file that he collects certain amount, Jeffrey shot him out, then that means he's in serious trouble.
Well, he and the person who sponsored him. That's what it is saying.
So that means when the Minister of Culture came up here and collected funds to go back into Jamaica because of COVID,
collected over $400,000 US, right?
Yes. What does signify, Mr. Rattigan and Sir Nelson?
Well, the records keeping requirements is on the people who did the sponsoring, right? They have to send a report of filing every 6 months. It's not a one-time thing. Every 6 months, they must update DOJ as to their activities. And I'm sure it has not been reported to DOJ.
So that means, so Nelson and Mr. Rattigan and Mr. Dr. Francis and Jamaican callers, that the person who sponsored the culture minister to come up here, maybe to donation to help with donations for Jamaica for the COVID-19 thing that we have down there. They're in serious trouble then.
They have not followed any parts of this regulation as far as I can tell.
God have mercy.
Does not happen.
Let me just read you something about the how disingenuous some of these members are of the Jamaica Global Jamaica Diaspora Council. In their terms of reference, section 9, subsection 1, right? It says, every member must at all times display the following personal and professional characteristics throughout their tenure on the GJDC. A. Listen to this. Just listen to this. That every member must be honest. It's the first thing. Every member must have personal integrity and a sense of proper values, must demonstrate sensitivity to and tolerance of differing views, maintain a friendly, adopt a responsive and patient approach to dealing with challenges, and consistently demonstrate an overall interest in Jamaica's development. So now, here is a different view, provided by Dr. Francis. And what do? They display dishonesty. First thing they do, they display dishonesty because they cannot say at all that the 4 issues that he raised, that those 4 issues are bogus. They cannot say that. Then, on top of that, ask yourself the question, have these issues ever been raised by the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council? Have they ever raised these issues? These issues are there. Have they ever raised these issues? And if they did, what conclusions did they arrive at? What did they come to? Right? So now they're saying, you know what, Dr. Francis is supposed to come and do this in a diplomatic way. Well, I'll be damned. Dr. Francis and others have been doing this in a diplomatic way since 2016. I personally have spoken to the Prime Minister about crime and violence in Jamaica, and he didn't take my advice. Dr. Rupert Francis, he's spoken to Jamaican officials. Herb, he's spoken to Jamaican officials. And we have the Minister of National Security, the good medical doctor, who said, I don't need to know, because I have all the help I need, all the expertise I need. I have it here in my JCF, so I don't need to know. So now, when we talk about crime and violence, what are we supposed to do now? Are we supposed to go back to them and say, yeah, we want to sit down and talk to you about this? They've already expressed their views to us, that they have no interest in anything that we have to say. Well, when you talk to them about corruption, what are they going to say? You think they're going to say, oh, yeah, you're right. You know what? Yeah, we need to do some more. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to give you a commitment. I'm going to do it by a certain date. The hell no. When you talk about...
Go ahead.
When you talk about standing to sue, you notice nobody said, no, it's a lie. You have standing to sue. You notice none of them come out and say, you know what? No, that's a lie. You can come and sue officials in Jamaica. You have standing. You notice nobody says that. You notice nobody says, no, man, we've provided service delivery. We've done that. Everything that we promised that we were going to do, we did. You notice? And let me just say this for all the people who say, well, why is it that we focus on the negative and not the positive? Because there's a social contract between voters and politicians. And it's this. You promise me that you're going to provide service delivery, and I give you my vote. So when you tell me you're going to build a road and you build a road, you get no medals. I don't give you anything for that. That's part of the contract. When you don't build the road, you've breached the contract, and therefore that gives me the right to speak out about it, to seek redress. So we're not, when they come and say, well, you know, we have unemployment 4 point something. Yay. Did you promise that you're going to bring down unemployment? You did. Okay, all right, fine. There's no, what we are talking about. Did you promise that you're going to do GDP to debt ratio and bring it down? And I won't even, some people will even argue that it's an illusion, that it's not really the case as made out to be. But even if they did that, you say, but you promised that. And you deliver. Look, if I take my car to the mechanic and I say, listen, I have a problem here. And the mechanic says, okay, I'll fix it for you. It's going to cost you X. And the mechanic, he fixes the car and he collects his money. What am I supposed to do now? What am I supposed to do? That's the contract. You fix my damn car and I pay you. Now, if you do, if he claims that he fixed it and it wasn't fixed properly, then we have a problem. But if you fix it, if you fix it, if you tell me pay me and I fix it, I pay you, fix it, and it works, we have no problem. So this idea is a false equivalency when they come and say, you're always talking about the negative. God damn it. Hell yeah, we're going to talk about the negative because you promised and you failed to deliver. When you deliver, there's no argument. We don't argue with you. We check the box and said, okay, fine, you did good. And that's it. So,
But Mr. Rattigan, based on everything that you just said, why are these people coming off of Dr. Francis who are in the diaspora? Don't you think they should rally around him?
Who should? Hell yeah. Oh, I forgot. Let me tell you something. They put out that thing there, right?
Yes.
They put out that thing talking this nonsense. Let me just remind them that we represent the real diaspora, not them. They represent the bogus diaspora, them friend and company, the ones them who get invited to the little cocktail parties and them take photo ops with this and that and minister and them go Jamaica and them get treated the red carpet treatment and sell we out. Them they are bogus representatives. And I'll tell you why. The UK has approximately 800,000 Jamaicans. And I guess that means, you know, first generation, second generation, third generation, about 800,000. You know how many people voted in the last election, the one that was held, I think, this year, the last diaspora election? 800,000. A total 165 people voted.
What?
There's a representative. There's a diaspora representative who received 17 votes. 17. And I'm being told that most people did not vote and they stayed away from it because of the issue concerning the government's involvement in it. The government was too involved and it turned off people. In fact, I know for a fact that there was a huge argument in New York about the heavy-handedness of the government in terms of the establishment and the running of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, particularly in the Northeast. So in England, we have 800,000 Jamaicans plus, and only 165 vote. And them say them represent all of them. Them not represent all of them. Look at the Northeast, right? The Northeast. And I'm going by what, and I trust this man's judgment, Ambassador Curtis Ward. He said that from Maine to Virginia, the Northeast, I was told yesterday by the representative that it's 500,000. I think it's more than that. Ambassador Ward said it could be as much as many as 2 million Jamaicans, right?
Wow.
From Maine all the way up Maine, all the way come down to Virginia, right? 2 million, as many as 2 million. You know how many people voted in the election?
10.
Less than 100.
My God. Out of nearly 2 million people, and nearly 1 million
Less
people.
than 100. So when them say them represent people, them represent the diaspora, them don't represent the diaspora because most of the diaspora got turned off and them don't even bother vote. Them not get involved with it. So them people are the silent majority. We represent them people. We represent them people there. And so we are going to show them when we do our thing next year. We are going to show them who the real diaspora is. We'll show them. Not the 100 in the Northeast or the 165 or whatever number is in the UK. Think about that. Hold on a second there. Hold on. Let me give you a little bit more there. Okay. Throughout Canada, the UK, and the US, when they had the elections this year, a little more than 3,000 people voted.
Throughout Canada, the United States?
And the US. I mean, the UK. The UK have 800,000. God knows the US must have about 3 million or more. Because the Northeast region is as many as 2 million, right? We're not count Florida, you know, count California and other places, right? And Texas. So, make us say 3 million. Make us just say 3 million. A little over 3,000 people voted. Little over 3,000 people voted. And them claims to them represent diaspora. Let them go away. We represent the diaspora. And we are going to show them. We are going to show them our unity. And by showing them our unity, we are going to show them our strength. And our strength is firmly behind Dr. Rupert Francis. Right? We are going to show them that. Then pick the wrong man for go fight. Then pick the wrong man.
You have to make sure you step out a certain way, you know. These people don't represent us, right? Because here we are, bawling out in a letter. Dr. Rupert wrote a letter, right? On behalf of all of us, home and abroad, right? Bawling out about government corruption, bawling about a crime, bawling about 5 different things that is bothering us, real issues. And this group up here who claim that they represent us in the diaspora, hearing the cry from the diaspora, but pretending that as if they're not here, they are playing a deaf ear to our cry for the diaspora. We are in the diaspora, in the wilderness, crying out. And the people who claim that they represent us is putting up, they're not representing us, they are taking up on the other side. The government, that's what I know in my heart. This is my opinion. I believe this team, this group is an arm of the government, and this is my opinion. Up here, just a script donation for this government. That's how I see it. I believe, it is my opinion, that this group is like the next arm of the government, trying to script for the government because they are not here for us people. Now, they live in America, a lot of them live up here, right? They probably live in them gated community. They would have seen politicians get in trouble for far less than what happened in Jamaica. You come here just like any one of us, you know you can't get out of your car and just pee at the roadside again. You know certain things you learn up here, you're different. Why these guys don't hold our politicians in Jamaica to the same standard like some of them up here would I even go out and march and pick it against American politician who is embroiled in less amount of corruption than what our politicians are? Now, I wonder if any one of them ever sit and Andrew Willis and ask him about this signing the code of conduct, declaring his asset. But wonder if any one of them in the diaspora was going to represent us. These are the things that we in the diaspora talk about. These are the things that we're concerned about: crime, corruption. They do not represent us. They do not represent us. Here we are in the diaspora, crying out by way of a letter. And all they did was step all over the letter. But you can't crush that letter. You guys are too light. Sorry. Like a flick, like a bug. We're going to continue fighting. And thank you, Brother Rupert.
You know,
Will I hear?
Huh?
Dr. Francis, you want to come in?
Yes,
just,
I would like to.
Well, on the Dr. Francis, let me just say something before you come in, because you know, you don't have to say nothing tonight, you know. You don't have to say nothing for the rest of the time, because you have spokespeople in front, behind, beside, on top, below, everywhere, right? Plus, you have the big man upstairs a cover you. So you don't have to worry about nothing, brother. No, Joan, big up yourself. I'm going to mention this little quote here. Joan sent me a quote. She said, if you think you are too small to make a difference, if you think you're too small, and this will go out to all our people, let me know. If you think you are too, because when we go up against government, right? And when you look upon a man like me, and you look upon a man like Herb, you look upon a man who fight government, fight government tooth and nail. Right? And we not have no friend who fight government. And we not attack Jamaica government. We fight bigger government than Jamaica government. And see, we still there for live to talk about it. So Jamaica government, I know nothing. But people who say, wow, them have a machine and them this and them that and blah, 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 and them so big and you can't. Think about this. An African proverb, it says, if you think you are too small to make a difference, let me repeat that. If you think you are too small to make a difference, then you haven't spent the night with a mosquito. You have not spent the night with a mosquito.
Mr.
If you
Rattigan,
think you're too small to make a difference.
can you repeat that for me, sir? Read all of
Says,
it.
if you think you are too small to make a difference, then you haven't spent the night with a mosquito. Okay, so you're smaller man and there's mosquito give you a warm time, right? I mean, know that because I used to live at Waterhouse when when they dump over River and the rain fall and the mosquito them fly across Washington Spanish Town Road come over there, right? So may I tell you, people, don't ever think that because you did a little can over your son, you have a little can and so. Let us come together, let us pool our resources. And when I say resources, not just financial resources, I'm talking about moral resources, right? We want to provide moral support to Dr. Rupert Francis because they might come after this man like there's no tomorrow, and we are going to show them, we are going to push back. My FBI class, what was it? Remember, 87.3, 88.3. That was my class. Every class have a motto. Every class have a motto where people in the class just pick a motto on it because we have a shirt. My class motto was lean into the wind. Lean into the wind. And that is what we are going to do. We not lean back and make the wind blow over. We are leaning at the wind. So Dr. Francis, big up yourself, sir. Big up yourself. Much respect.
Herb Nelson.
Dr. Francis, we can't hear you.
Oh, Dr. Francis, unmute.
Yeah, no, I'm on. Yes. All of my friends, colleagues on this platform, especially Rattigan, Brother Rattigan, Brother Jamaican Carlos, Brother Jeffrey, and of course the inevitable when I started this whole thing some years ago. That man is something else. That guy, don't make him investigator. That is Herb Nelson.
Hold on for me. Hold on for me. Herb, you're not hearing him. But we're hearing something is wrong. I don't know what's going on because we're hearing him.
You hearing him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Doc.
All right.
Yes. Yeah. So I just want to thank everyone, and I was just paying you special thanks, Herb, because how we started the Jamaica Diaspora Crime Task Force, I am telling you, it was just by happenstance. Herb heard of my what I was doing. I heard of what he was doing. We had a mutual friend, and believe you me, within a month we had nearly 300 to 400 persons on the crime task force. I'm talking about people with credibility, people with a lot of things. So I want to thank you guys for coming out here to support that. And it was welcomed. When the minister herself heard that we did, she said, man, I could dance when she heard about that. And it's ironic that she was dancing a week ago or two. The point I'm trying to make is this, that whatever you guys, I'm happy that you have come out to support me and always has supported me. Nobody has really done anything that I would not do for Jamaica. I mean, the same thing I would do, they would do, and vice versa. You know what I mean? And sometimes we don't agree. All of us, as he said earlier on many things. But one thing we agree on is Jamaica, land we love. And so I want the listeners out there to understand this. That I appreciate that because support is absolutely necessary. I'm getting some calls. This is sometimes a thing knock off. Let me tell you something. Every minute you get a call, well done, well done. I've never one negative call I've had. And when I finished talking to the guy, it was positive. Okay? So I'm just saying to you, people just need to know the truth. People just need to know the truth and admit the truth. And don't talk about personal aggrandizement and all that sort of thing. Some of my best friends at first said, boy, you should give them an ease at this time of the year. I said, for what? It is not going into 2024 like this. We have to have a solution. It is the Jamaica diaspora, not the Jamaica. Jamaica, yes, they say we don't have nothing to do with. No, we have a lot to do with. And that, what hurts is, you and I know, everybody on this platform, that the diaspora helps each diaspora that is successful in the world. India, France, any way you want to name it. They have been successful and they help the other. We helped them start the Nigeria diaspora, right, Herb? I think we helped them this far. And now they're way ahead of us because they're inclusive. Venezuela, they can vote in there, and many other places. Okay? And other countries can do that. And we're not talking about voting necessarily. We don't want to think about anybody's rights necessarily.
Yes.
Neither are we. But the fact of the matter is that they should have an opportunity. We are Jamaicans. How is it possible that anybody in the Commonwealth can come to Jamaica and go into the parliament there in Jamaica, and we as Jamaicans cannot do it here? Why? What's the reason? Are they better than us? Are they better looking? No. Let us get this thing straight. Okay, get the Constitution straight, as our good friend would say. Let us get the Constitution straight. The people of Jamaica is what we need to focus on the people of Jamaica, not ourselves. Yes, it has some costs, and we are bearing those costs now. But I'm telling you, in the long run, very short run, they'll understand that they made a grave mistake with some of the things that they said today, which is not so. And I don't believe, to be quite honest with you, that they had the accents of all the Jamaican diaspora representatives. And unfortunately, really and truly, they don't represent us. They represent Jamaica. But they're wonderful people, nice people. All of them are nice people. I've met all of them. But please don't believe what you hear. Believe what you can see and understand. That's all I would like to say. And I thank you all for this evening. It's really an amazing situation. Let's get more of these things done. Let's educate the people. Let's go out on social media. Let's carry it on. Man, you guys are doing a fantastic job, because I'm telling you, since I'm here, people have been just, calling and doing all they can to support us. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Let me I'm going to get callers to come in. But let me ask Mr. Rattigan here. Mr. Rattigan. Anyway, Jeffrey, behave yourself. Let me ask.
Jeffrey, behave.
Ratty, let me say this. Let me ask this question here. Based on all that you said, you and Herb said about the visor or FISA, or what they want to call it. Members of the Jamaican diaspora now should be very, 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 very concerned.
Yeah. Yeah, they should be very concerned because, as we explained, I don't believe they've filed, all of them have completed the FARA filings. I don't believe they have. And this is an American law that says that if you have engagements with foreign principals, right, including foreign governments, then you must report your contacts to the U.S. government. And I tell them, if they don't believe, in fact, you know what? Since General Flynn and Paul Manafort, since they were charged with this, the Department of Justice, they've beefed up that squad, the FARA unit with prosecutors, because it was something that went overlooked for maybe decades. Now they're very active. And so my continued plea to the members of that council is that they should seek legal counsel. And they should remember that the statute looks backwards as well. So if you file now, it doesn't mean they can't prosecute you for not filing previously. So they should be very, very concerned. I'm not going to tell upon them, I'm not tell upon them. I tell you the truth. I'm not going to tell upon them. But maybe people out there want to tell upon them. I don't know. If you don't want the address, we can go. No, I joke, man.
Mr. Rattigan, do you believe the government of Jamaica will stand their legal fee?
No, here's what they do. All they have to do is just get an attorney who's proficient in this area, and then they do a what do you call it? StreamYard, or what's the other one?
Zoom.
Teams, a Zoom conference. Get everyone on and have the person just do a 2-hour or 3-hour thing, and have them sign that they've received the training and that they will go ahead and file. And that's it.
Mr. Nelson, unmute him, I can go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, listen, violations of FARA are subject to criminal and civil penalties. A person who willfully violates the act may face up to 5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. Right? So it's a double whammy.
Yeah, right? I thought it was 15, but it's 10. Okay.
It's $10,000 fine. It could have gone up since they did this thing at Library of Congress. Right? And the big thing here is the act is being continually refined, because they put in to provide civil investigative demand authority to DOJ, and that might have passed already, right? All your activities and written records is subject for inspection by U.S. law enforcement, right? And so you're right, Ratty, it might have gone up because they say in 2021 they were going to change the penalties for non-compliance with registration requirement, right?
Yeah.
And so
no, sorry to interrupt you. I think it's still. I'm looking in some research on, but I think it's still 10. I think you're right. You're right. It's still 10.
Okay, but I don't know what they changed proposal was in 2021. So that it's important that we validate that. Listen, when they're serious when they say you must maintain all written records and anything produced by 2 or more people and that has gone out in distribution. So all this private stuff or secret stuff that the government is saying, it can't be private or secret if 2 or more people produce it, right?
Right.
It must be accessible to the diaspora at large. And the other thing was apart from the inspection, attorneys engage in the legal representation of a foreign principal before U.S. court or agency as part of an official inquiry. They are the only ones that would be exempt.
Exempt, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. And if you're engaged as a lobbyist for foreign non-governmental person, corporation, or organization, all right, if you're registered under the Lobbying Disclosure Act of 1995. So they have all kinds of whys and wherefore for the people who might be exempt. But, I can't overemphasize that the Jamaican government have no say-so if DOJ come after you. None. Right? They can't come in the court and testify on your behalf and say anything. You must know the law and you must comply with the law. The law is the law and it's not going to change.
Let me ask you a question, Dr.
Before you ask the question, Jeffrey, let me just say that I am not going to tell anyone how to file a complaint, a FARA complaint against the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council. But if you're looking for the information, it's you can just Google. I'm not giving away any secrets, Carlos. I'm not telling anybody how to file this complaint. All I'm saying, the information is there. And if you do Google, the information is there, you know, but I'm not telling
you have a DOJ FARA unit with Civil Investigative Demand Authority. So that it's that simple, people. Once you drop that dime, it's all over. So I can only encourage those who are part of that letter to us and to Dr. Francis, importantly. Run down tomorrow, Google it, and try and get your registration done. You know, and keep in mind.
And the office. So you know, just to narrow your search, the office is in Washington D.C. I've been there, so you know.
But you know, gentlemen, we're here, you know, and honestly,
what are they? You see, Maria said, tell him say, if say fair. Tell him say fair. I touch a button. Tell him say.
I've heard that word in a long while. But gentlemen, on a very serious note, I'm here listening to both Wilfred Rattigan and Herb Nelson. Is not that time I am blocking out my good friend Carlos or Dr. Francis. But what they're giving us is information that I didn't know about. It's vital information.
Yes.
So, Mr. Rattigan, for those in the Jamaican diaspora, what your advice would be to them?
You mean people, members of the council, or just
yes, members of the council?
Member of the council, listen. You can give me a call. I'm licensed in DC. You know, if you need representation, when you're before you're interviewed, please call me if you need representation. I know how to deal with these matters. So give me a call. If you talk to them first and then you call me, it's a more difficult task and it's more expensive, you know. But if you call me beforehand, then we can work our way through it, and everything will be fine. So that's my advice to them.
Let me ask you this, Ratty. If they went in and registered from tomorrow forward, would that be perjury because they didn't disclose that they've been active all this time?
Yeah, you know, they could do that. The statute doesn't have a statutory limitation, so they've made it like a 5-year in principle, conventionally. That's how they've done it. And so they can actually look back, and it depends on what you've been doing. Because if you've been meeting with the Chinese and doing all kinds of stuff, then they'll look back. They can go back they can do it 5 years. But I think in most instances where it's seemingly innocent and they're gonna just give you a slap on the wrist, then they'll look forward. They'll look where we are and look forward. So if you file now, they probably won't go back. They won't make it retroactive, OT. But it depends, because if we find out, and some of these people working with, God forbid that some of these people working with the council, the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, if they have clearances working for the U.S. government, they're going to have some serious problems if they have clearance issues and they didn't tell the U.S. government that they're engaged with a foreign government. It's going to be, believe me, those of you, the 8 or whatever the number is in America, If you have a clearance, a U.S. government clearance, and you've been meeting and doing stuff with the Jamaican government through this council, and you haven't reported that, you are in for a lot of trouble. You're in for a lot of trouble.
Mr.
No.
Can you repeat what you say, whatever?
No mercy. No mercy for the merciless. These people are heartless and on the ship. And drag Jamaica in the corruption. The embarrassment. They talk about shame. It's just the embarrassment that they brought to us. I keep seeing somebody in the comment section saying that we should help with the gun that is coming to Jamaica. I see the comment. But what we are trying to do,
I know who that person is, so just ignore it.
What we're trying to do here, we're starting about corruption. So maybe if we tackle corruption, we can reduce the guns that come into Jamaica. Don't forget that the British ambassador said that Jamaican politicians are bringing in guns, among other things, to Jamaica. And when the American and Canadian authorities do the same investigation, they come up with the same result. Do not forget that the British ambassador told us after his 3-year stay in Jamaica that Jamaican politicians are importing guns. I'm yet to see any investigation on that. The U.S. State Department also said that Jamaican police are involved in human trafficking. Talk about the police when you run from somebody, your attacker, you run into a police who might be a human trafficker. I've not seen an investigation in anything like those. So let's to answer this person's question concerning the comment section. Make we try tackle corruption first. This is the first step that Mr. Rupert Francis is like when you push out the boat. You know, you jump on a boat, you lift up your anchor, you untie it, you jump on the boat, and the last man jump on the boat, you push it up, now you're up on the bow, I'm going to sit down right now. The boat just a row. Let's work together. It's called call to action. So if anyone wants to call and all them things there, I'm sure Herb will give you guys some hint. Herb, I don't know if you want to give them more information because the people in the comment section said they want to get to work. So you might want to give them more information, my brother. It's called call to action.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me say something. Ratty, you gotta come in, Ratty. Let me say something here. I know a lot of people have been saying that members in the Jamaican diaspora who live overseas need to lobby the American government for them to stem the gun trafficking into Jamaica. Don't you think that's where the diaspora council comes into? Unmute your mic, Mr. Rattigan. Unmute your mic. Unmute your mic. Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead now.
No. What was that?
I'm
you said,
okay. People are saying that we in the diaspora must lobby the American government to stem the trafficking of gun into Jamaica. And I'm saying, isn't that where the Diaspora Council comes in also?
But remember,
hold on, Ratty. So for that person to be saying that to us, don't you think that the Jamaican Diaspora Council was organized by the government of Jamaica? Don't you think that they should be lobbying the American government too?
Exactly. You're right. Because they have a crime and security chair or a component within the council. And in fact, I saw a name. I don't think the person is still there. But that's one of the things that they should be doing. But we should never forget that last year, December, the Prime Minister came here with his police commissioner to do what? To talk about this same issue. And we must never forget that just a few weeks ago, the Prime Minister came this time with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade to talk about this same issue. And we must never forget that when he came last year, he came and said he had names of dons, people selling, and we haven't heard anything since then. We haven't heard anything since then. So this idea of the diaspora supposed to do this and supposed to do that, you see how useless the diaspora that they're talking about? They have a council and you say, well, okay, yeah, we have a diaspora council. What are they doing? Right? And not only that, what is the Prime Minister doing? right? Because you notice he's not getting any assistance because he has no credibility with U.S. law enforcement and intelligence services. He has no credibility. None. It's completely shot. So what they do is they just tolerate him when him come up. They just tolerate him and make him come up. But mark my words, there'll come a time. There could come a time when the Prime Minister get on a flight and come here and is not able to go back on his free will. There could come that time.
Wow. Why is it, Mr. Rattigan?
Herb, no.
Oh, Lord. Mr. Nelson, you can't elaborate, sir?
Well, what you do, sometimes what you do in the dark, Jeffrey, comes to light in different ways. People are always cutting deals, They're giving up the other party. They're sharing information that others thought was secret. And when that happens, and things come up to bump, and that means the man come in with some silver bundles for you, right? Maybe even leg irons, silver. So if you like silver, they'll deck you out in all the silver you need. But the bottom line is, look, somebody talk about money laundering.
Yes.
The 400,000 plus that went to Jamaica from here, part of the check of that 400,000 is that it came from legitimate sources. So if you fail to keep the records on that 400,000, it could be interpreted as money laundering. Don't forget that.
So hold on here, Dr. Nelson. What are you saying? That the 400,000 was given to the ministry or the minister of culture?
Yeah.
Could be spent as money laundering if she don't report certain things.
Look, how you will know the minister didn't bring 200,000 up? Throw it in there and get it back as a donation from the diaspora. You see, this is why you have to keep careful records. You have to record who money is coming from, and you have to record where you're going to spend it. Transparency and accountability. And these people don't believe in neither transparency nor accountability. So where did the money come from? How much money exactly? What is the source? All of these things come into play. I'm not saying anything. This is just simple, basic accounting. Simple. And the laws of the country come into play. The same laws that Jamaica signed on to. You have to ensure that there's no money being laundered. And I'm not just saying it to be facetious or anything like that. I'm just telling them there's accountability in everything we do. And you can't just willy-nilly form an organization being run by the overseas government and accept everything the government tells you you have to do as gospel. You have certain reporting and recording requirements that need to be adhered to. And that's what we're telling you tonight. If you haven't been doing it, it's time to start. And we'll be tired if you don't listen and somebody go write that poison pen letter and all of a sudden somebody come breathing down your neck wanting to see your records.
My.
Yep.
My. What is such information we have here tonight?
This is what it is.
We're going to open up the phone lines. You don't mind opening up the phone lines, gentlemen?
All right.
We're going to open the phone lines for people to call in. 954-529-83. Sorry. I don't even know number. Hold on a minute there. Oh, God. My. 954-529-8316. 652-98030. That's the number to call in. Wilfred Rattigan gave us some information that is turning along with Herb Nelson Jr. It's sting like a bee. Wilfred Rattigan?
What I say? Oh, Philip, when we're at the demonstrations, Philip, stay tuned, because we not talk things and not complete the things them, So just stay tuned. Let me see. Need to put this because. Oh, by the way, I see something here where this is so crazy. Minister Morgan put out something on, I think, Facebook. I don't have no Facebook account, but X, one of them him put up, and him say persons on the council are elected members of the diaspora and supported by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Second paragraph, it was evolved from the advisory board developed by the PNP in 2004, who were directly appointed by the PNP minister. Third paragraph, we changed that. These persons are also elected. They are not an arm of the government. It is 28 people from different continents based on sectoral recommendations. But then somebody pointed out to him that it is an arm of the government. And they quoted the same section that I quoted. They said that the governance structure of the council is led and supported by the chairperson, who is the Minister of State with responsibility for diaspora affairs within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That structure of the council is led and supported by.
Can you turn off your radio in the background, sir? Sorry, Ratty. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Ratty. Ratty, go ahead.
I'm going to have to. Somebody will have to respond to Mr. Morgan and disabuse him of his false notion and perception before them let him out for come write them things here. He's supposed to do his research as much as we are doing around here, because he has little to no credibility right now. I think more like no credibility, and it's just getting worse because him say it is not an arm of the government. It is 28 people from different continents. And then somebody corrected him and said, well, it is an arm of the government because it's run by the junior minister in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade.
So you're saying to me, Mr. Rattigan, that the Minister of Information, or should I say misinformation, don't know about it?
Yeah, apparently he doesn't know about it. He doesn't know about this document. I want my document. He doesn't know about this document.
One moment before you go there.
You can see it.
Before you go there, one moment. We're going to take this call here. Good night, caller. Welcome to Mexico.
Jeffrey, I sometime early this year on Nationwide with Minister Vaz. And I heard Cliff Hughes ask him about some of his harshest and darkest days in his life. And I remember him specifically stating one of the darkest days of his life was when his American visa was revoked. Tonight, a lot of Jamaican politicians, PNP and JP too, are shaking in their boots tonight because of what Herb and the great Rattigan said. These are some of the information that we need to keep so that Jamaican people can be educated. Because, feel no way, a lot of Jamaicans are hearing some of these things for the first time. My question to you tonight, why is that if the Diaspora Council is a public information, public body representing the Jamaican people, why can't we have the executive or the committee members? We need to have them names, I show them picture, we need to know them. Because we don't know them, nobody seems to know them in America. So we need to put out, if Dr. Francis can do it, give it the name, put up the name and the pictures and the position and who are the communication director, who's the vice president, who's the secretary, who's the treasurer. We need to know all that. Because I remember last year, Rattigan did a program when they were about to launch this organization. And I heard Ratty warn them that if you will do this organization, there are certain documents that need to be completed with the federal government. And if they
Thank
go
you,
ahead
sir.
and do it, they can themselves in problems, serious problems with the federal government. I remember Rattigan won them last year, and see, quite likely, I'm 99% sure that none of them completed the relevant information to report to the federal government. So this, thanks.
Thank you very much. Good night, Make We Talk. Welcome to Make We Talk. Good night.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Granted that we got all this good information from Ratty, and you know, we don't do anything about it. Aren't we not complicit to people breaking the law and we keeping silent about it?
What did you say, sir? Repeat the question.
I'm speaking about complicity. Now we have been made aware that crimes are being committed in regards to not filing. And we all keep quiet about it now. Aren't we complicit now in breaking US laws?
Mr. Rattigan? Mr. Rattigan, did you hear the caller, sir?
Okay, Ratty, now listen.
No, what was that? Sorry.
Repeat the question, sir.
Bratty, go ahead, Bratty. I hear your voice.
We have been made aware
yes,
that
sir.
US laws are being broken. And
yes, sir.
is there complicity on anyone's part knowing that laws are being broken and keeping silent about it?
Yes, people are, you said laws are broken and people are keeping silent about it.
But he's saying that we have come out and said that laws have been broken. But he's saying that maybe we are keeping silent about it. That's what you're saying, sir?
Well, I mean, there's a thing called complicity. When a crime is being committed and you ignore it, you are complicit, right?
No, but here's the thing, Bratty. What we have said is that they should file. We don't know if they file. We don't believe they file. So it's not, we can't say for certainty that they have filed. But believe me, we don't believe that they have filed. So at this point, Bratty, now that you know, right? And I may be trying to guard myself. You know how to guard yourself. So just go back into the chat and you see the address. And you can just work your way to that address there and do what you need to do. And then, you know what I mean? You'll be doing God's work. You'll be taking care of some terrible people and bringing justice to their doorsteps. How that sound?
Okay,
How it
sir.
sound? Talk to me.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for calling in. Boy, go ahead, call us.
That's real talk. God's work.
Yeah.
God's work.
Terrelonge is this obviously listening to your show, Jeffrey.
Not Mr. Terrelonge, I mean the Minister of Information, the most Honorable Excellency Robert Morgan.
Well, whoever is listening, they're listening.
Come on live.
I'm inviting Minister Terrelonge and Minister Morgan to come on my program and explain to the people of Jamaica and the Jamaican diaspora the shebang going on between the Jamaican government and the Jamaican diaspora because of a letter that Dr. Francis wrote. For those who want to take part in the program, you can call 954-529-8030.
Herb. Let me just say one thing. Herb, since we, you know, because we know hold back information for any particular program. Any program with upon, we just let it off. No, you want to talk to the people about this Magnitsky Act that deals with these human rights abusers, kleptocrats, and corrupt actors, so that people understand that the Prime Minister is also at risk, and not only the Prime Minister, but members of the cabinet, people who are suspected of being human rights abusers, kleptocrats, and corrupt actors. Yes, corrupt actors. That could the U.S. government could easily get that information from the Integrity Commission and say, okay, give us the information regarding the 6 and the 28, and they could prosecute those people, take away them visas, So you want to talk about the far-reaching effect of it? And by the way, I'm not saying the Prime Minister has committed any corrupt acts or is a human rights abuser or anything like that. All I'm saying is that the Integrity Commission cannot verify his statutory declaration, and that is reason enough to take away his visa. That is reason enough to take away his visa.
One moment for me. I have a call in line here.
Go ahead.
Talk.
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Well, if prayers are being answered, it's being answered by humans. It is beautiful. It is, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
We sit here in Jamaica and we are suffering because if you talk, you can't even go under your bed. Then send for you. The fact is that we are sitting here, we are knowledgeable, we know what is happening, we know that these politicians are doing illicit things, and we sit here and suffer daily. And if you are all angels, I want to say thank God. And I would hope that you continue to do what you have to do, because the Jamaican people are suffering. And when I say we're suffering because we're a people of pride. We're a people coming back from the days of going out in the diaspora. People pick us up, call it that, pick us up to work, because we are hard workers. We're people of integrity, and we have now lost it. We have lost the standings that we had out in the international stage. And I want to thank you wholeheartedly. I want to thank you so wholeheartedly for standing for the Jamaican people. And I really hope that whether it's Bangle, whether it's Rup, that they take these people and deal with them the way that they should be dealt with. It is unjust, it is unfair, and I am just happy that somebody has come to the cry of the Jamaican people. I want to thank you all so very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for calling in, and thank you for your encouraging words to us. Mr. Rattigan, do you have anything to say to the caller, sir?
No, listen, you wouldn't understand. I keep telling people that the failure in this country are the women. I'm a woman, and I keep saying that the failure of the backbone of the country is, or of anything, is a woman. And the women have fallen short. When we look in our society today, we're growing our young girls. Who can we say, can you look up to? Surely not the lady, the speaker of the house. We can't say that. And the fact of the matter is that we are here, we are people who want just some form of dignity. We want to be treated with some form of dignity. And if you are the guys who are going to help us, including Maria, because she might be the lone female that is standing there, I want to just say wholeheartedly, thank you on behalf of the Jamaican people. Thank you so much that you are knowing that we're suffering, and there are people there. You know, many times I want to buy a white flag and put it out on the seaside to come out to make people come help me. I am so happy. I listen to every one of the programs. Every single one of the programs. I just want to say yes, and you continue to do what you have to do. They cannot be standing in the necks of the Jamaican people and continue to do what they want to do. You know, many people don't see Christmas this year because of these people, and you go about and talk about how much increase you're going to take, and then turn around and speak to the people with indignity and speak to us like we're stupid. Oh, our prayers have been answered. If nobody else's prayers have been answered, my prayers have been answered. And I want to thank you wholeheartedly for coming and standing up for the Jamaican people. Because you guys who have gone to do that out there yes, you went for better, but I am sure that many of you will possibly want to come back home. Come back home for what? A beautiful Jamaica. We want to come back home to places that people have not stolen, and now want to tell you that it is that you can't go there, that you have no right to be there. I'm reading articles to see how many Jamaicans are now going down to Ghana to live. And we're losing our people. We're losing our people because of what is happening here. I have 2 young children, and believe me, 138 and 134. None of them not giving a grandchildren because they can't afford to give me. Because guess what? The fact of the matter is that they cannot afford to buy a house and buy a car. And these children went to Aden and Woolworths. These children are here, and what are you trying to tell them? That they need to go and do illicit things to be surviving? And when you look around in Jamaica, it is amazing to know how many people are possibly involved.
But caller, let me ask you this question, caller. I hear the Minister of Information and others are saying that Jamaica is blooming with prosperity.
For them. And they're ensuring that it is kept among themselves. That is what is happening. It is happening for them. And I keep calling them aliens. I keep saying, every time I hear them speak, I say these aliens are visiting again. Because they cannot be living in a society and know as a fact that there are still people with pit toilets. There are people who, another thing with the education system, I don't know how many of you have gone to technical school. My husband went to a technical school. And the fact of the matter is that we sit here in Jamaica and allow them to take away that syllabus. The schools are now almost like grammar schools. And the fact of the matter is that our people, when you go into the inner cities and you look on the walls and you look at how our people are innovative, we are taking away the skills from them. They can always say that is happening, and this is why I want it to happen for them, and I want you people to come with the bangle. There is no more waving gallery out at Norman Manley International Airport, but I will personally be out here waving when they are all going with the bangles on them hand, and I want them bangle them foot, and I want them cut them tongue. These people are wicked set of people. I want to thank you wholeheartedly. Believe me.
Thank you so much.
Yes, man. You wouldn't understand. When I dial the number, I say, I hope I get through. Because I mean, it is painful. It is painful. It is awful what is happening in this country. And they want to come and speak to you every chance that they get and speak down to you. Look at Mr. Terrelonge. As to him, drag him by him locks. Drag him by him locks. He seems to believe that it is that you guys are here just having a talk show program. I want it to happen where it is that these people are taught that we're all God's children, and we're all supposed to be treated. We put them there, and they have, I can't even find a word for them. Yes, have a good evening. Yes, man, have a good evening.
Good night, welcome to Make a Talk. Good night, welcome to Make a Talk.
Good night, Sir Jeffrey.
Good night, how are you?
I am good, sir.
Go ahead.
2 things. This Global Jamaica Diaspora Council,
yes,
they're not listed on sunbiz.org in Florida. They're not. That's number one. That means they're operating illegally if they have a faction in Florida. They are operating illegally. And 2, question for Sir Rattigan. Can the government receive more than one poison pen letter?
If the government can receive more than 1,000 poison pen letter?
Yes.
Is that the question?
That's the question,
yes.
Yeah. Send, you mean the US government? Send the poison, well, no. The answer is, yeah, they can take the poison pen letter, and the more the merrier, because the more letters they receive regarding this issue, they're going to realize that a lot of taxpayers out there looking at this. And if there's one thing that will get any agency, any one of these, the alphabet agencies and the U.S. Congress to act is when you start talking about taxpayers' money. And when taxpayers get involved, they're very, very concerned. They're very responsive. They're not like Jamaican politicians and Jamaican agencies.
Right.
They're very responsive.
Thank you for calling.
Yes. All right. You guys are doing an amazing job, an absolutely wonderful job. And I got to big up everybody on the panel and all the commenters out there that are listening. Get your pen, dip it in a little bit of arsenic, and start writing. Start writing.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
All
Happy
right.
New Year to everybody when it comes.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you. Close the blind boy.
Francis, mute your mic for me, please, sir.
Ratty was asking me to address something of great importance.
Yes,
because
sir.
obviously our people in Jamaica don't read and they don't pay much attention to anything written up here. But there is something, in fact, called the Global Magnitsky Act.
Magnitsky.
Right? Magnitsky, yeah. And it is the office OFAC that oversees it in the Treasury. And I give you an example here. Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control. There was a president and his vice president down in Paraguay who engaged in corruption before they got into office, during their time in office, and after they left office. Right? Matter of fact, the vice president is still active. Treasury went after them using that Magnitsky Act, Human Rights Accountability Act, right? They target perpetrators of serious human rights abuse and corruption around the world. And Treasury is committed to addressing systematic corruption. And we have spoken time and time again about government ministers going to Mexico City, picking up funds after land sales, after oil barrel go missing and get sold, and all kinds of monies that they collect, and they bank it down in St. Lucia and Barbados. Right? The U.S. government knows about this. They collect these things. As a matter of fact, you have officers in Jamaica that report directly to the U.S. government and write reports on these things. I'm not talking about HSI either. I'm talking about right there in the various police and military offices. They do report this stuff because they know that the people are acting in a manner that's detrimental to the people of the country. And the U.S. government gives out millions of US dollars, and it's unaccounted for. The loans that they took out during COVID, I think, between the loans and the grant money that they got was over 2.9 billion US dollars. So correct me if I'm wrong, people. And I'm not even talking about the diaspora was given, which was 3.5 billion. Okay? And I was not speaking about the monies that come from the EU and Canada, right? Those monies are separate. But when these two gentlemen left government, right? Here's a paragraph. Horatio Cortez, president, engaged in corruption before, during, and after his term as president of Paraguay. His political career was founded on and continues to rely on corrupt means for success, right? They point out that he joined the Colorado Party down there in Paraguay, and incentives to induce the party to eliminate its 10-year length of affiliation requirement to enable him to run as the party's presidential nominee. In other words, him served 10 years and him paying everybody off to vote to remove that 10-year mark. Does it sound like the DPP? I mean, who else in Jamaica? I think the Auditor General, they extend past their mandatory retirement, as well as the DPP, right? In 2017, Carter has pledged $1 million of his own wealth to buy the votes of legislators to support his unsuccessful push for constitutional reform to allow him to run for a second term in 2018. And he continues to influence legislative activities after leaving office, targeting political opponents and bribing legislators to direct votes in his interest, with top supporters receiving as much as $50,000 monthly. And now he's been designated pursuant to, and you all write it down, Executive Order 13818, for being a foreign person who is a current or former government official, or a person acting for or on behalf of such an official who is responsible for or complicit in or is directly or indirectly engaged in corruption, including the misappropriation of state assets, the expropriation of private assets for personal gain, corruption related to government contracts. Contracts, people. Our Prime Minister gave contracts to his buddy while he was the Minister of Education. Direct corruption, right? And the prosecutor in the office, the Corruption Integrity Commission,
Corruption prosecution,
did not prosecute him for it. Say it's too long gone. Well, the U.S. government don't care whether you're in office or after you leave. They're coming after you, right? So when you think you've done everything to satisfy some, here comes another U.S. government, a new president, and his people who decide they're going to enforce the law. So it don't matter what the current government doing for you. Worry about the future governments, because you never get away from this stuff, right? So it's not just the president. It's because the vice president cooperated and everybody else who cooperated, they get charged. So everybody have equal opportunity of going to jail. You don't have no cover. You travel outside the country and you're done, right? Now, they went after the vice president as well, engaging corrupt practices to interfere with legal processes and protect himself and criminal associates from criminal investigation. And I'm saying this because this is what's happening now with the IC and with one Speaker of the House who's trying to protect them from criminal investigation, right? It's not going to work.
Herb, hold on a minute for me.
Yeah.
For the gentleman who came on my program a couple of days ago, I want to talk to you this evening. Hold on a minute for me, Herb. Whatever Mr. Nelson is reading, he didn't make it up. I'm going to advise you, and you know who I'm talking, to consult a thing they call Google. So if Herb Nelson is lying, that means Mr. Google is lying. Is that the case, my good friend? Is that the case? I don't have to call your name, Chopper. Well, I call your name now. I don't have to call your name. Consult Google, my good friend. If you believe that we are misinforming the people and lying on the government of Jamaica or anybody else, then I think Google is lying too. Continue, Mr. Nelson.
sanctions implications as a result of the activities of those gentlemen and any like activities around the world by any other world leader. All property and interests in property of the persons described that are in the United States or in the possession or control of U.S. persons are blocked and must be reported to OFAC. So that means everything you own, they're going to know about it, right? And it includes UK and Canadian reporting as well, and some EU entities, right? In addition, any entities that are owned directly or indirectly, individually or in aggregate, 50% or more by one or more blocked persons are also blocked, unless authorized by general or specific license issued by OFAC or otherwise exempt. OFAC's regulations generally prohibit all transactions by U.S. persons. And when you say U.S. persons, it doesn't mean U.S. citizen. It means citizen, green card holder, multiple visa holder, or whichever visa you hold for the U.S. If you engage in business.
Even one of the visas said notorious drugs law.
There you go. Right? And the prohibitions include the making of any contribution or provision of funds, goods, or services by, to, or for the benefit of any designated person, or the receipt of any contribution or provision of funds, goods, or services from any such person. This is why I was saying, if you give in Jamaica $400,000 US, how do we know that these people are using that system to bypass monitoring under this act? You've got to keep your records. You got to make sure those records are sharp and make sure those records are available. Because believe me, folks, somebody's coming to come look at it. And you have no choice in the matter. Right?
My.
So this is a Human Rights Accountability Act and the executive order.
Hold on for Mr. Nelson. Is it the same press release that was sent out, Mr. Rattigan, by council, talking about the same act?
Yeah, it's the same act. It's a Magnitsky Act. And let me just add a couple of things here before. Well, no, finish her, and then I'll
okay, all right. The human rights abuse and corruption undermines the values that form an essential foundation of stable, secure, functioning societies, and it has devastating impacts on individuals, weaken democratic institutions, degrade the rule of law, perpetuate violent conflicts, facilitate the activities of dangerous persons, and undermines economic markets. The United States seeks to impose tangible and significant consequences on those who commit serious human rights abuse or engage in corruption, as well as to protect the financial system of the United States from abuse by these same persons. So pretty much, this is telling you that they're going to make sure that you pay a price. I got to power up my phone again.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to make sure you pay a price. And that price is going to be everything that's attached to the U.S. or was gained from the U.S. They're going to track and trace it. So they don't care where you move it to around the world. They're going to find it. And they're going to put a freeze on it. You know, the U.S. has a long arm, and it's a very powerful entity, the DOJ. I think you know what happened with Dudus when they refused to send Dudus up here.
Yeah.
And that was DOJ. So when they come at you, you know, don't make no excuse. Just confess up, because they've been collecting all these decades you know, all this time.
Will
Right?
Rattigan?
Yeah, let me just say that somebody in the chat, they just mentioned that because Herbert mentioned that the Prime Minister granted contracts, and somebody said that a minister cannot give out a contract. That's true. Minister cannot issue a contract. However, what the corruption investigators discovered was that at the time, Minister Holness, at the time he was Minister of Education, that he recommended a business partner and a friend to get the contract, and they in essence said that it was tantamount to him telling them the issuing component of the government to issue that contract to the person because it carries weight. So what Herb is saying is not incorrect. What Herb is saying is that the Prime Minister issued those contracts, but if you go back and read the report and you see what was said, what the investigator said was that the weight of the minister's words and his recommendation, that was tantamount to him saying to them, give this man the contract. So and that's why they recommended that he be prosecuted, because they said his words conveyed a meaning to the party issuing the contract, that the contract should be given to his friend. And so that person can go back and look at it. What the corruption prosecutor said was that, and this is a mistake that they made, they didn't do a proper interview the first time. So when they went back, he elaborated on his initial statement. And so she's saying, well, and she hung her hat on the second statement and said, no, I don't think there's enough here to prosecute. Now, the other people involved with that whole saga, the corruption prosecutor said that there was enough evidence to prosecute them, but that she refrained from doing so because of abuse of process, meaning that the thing happened a long time ago, and so she didn't want to move forward with it. Essentially, that's what she said. So just to straighten up all of that. Now, getting to the Magnitsky Act. Now, in my last assignment with the FBI, in my section, I actually saw this act work. I actually saw it being implemented against certain Russian actors, people that the FBI considered to be oligarchs, kleptocrats, meaning people who thief money, corrupt politicians, and human rights abusers. I saw this act in place, and I'm telling you, people, that this act can be applied to those in Jamaica accused of kleptocracy, meaning thief money, and the corrupt politicians can be used against them. It can even be used against human rights abusers, like when the police drag the people from out of them bed, or when the police them violate the court order regarding the state of emergency. And it does not have to include or affect American interests. It doesn't. Americans can say, hey, you're stealing money. It doesn't have to be American money. They can say you're stealing from the treasury, you're stealing from the people of Jamaica, and they can apply it. I would love to see them apply it. I would love to see them apply it in this case with Jamaica, right? And then we'll go from there. But they won't do it, folks, unless we get serious enough and we drop that poison pen letter. If we drop that poison pen letter, then the ball is going to start rolling. I'm telling you. And with the ball rolling and with us getting involved with the lawmakers here, believe me, if politicians in Jamaica, I'm speaking to you now, you know what you've done to the people of Jamaica. You know what you've done. And if I were you, I would be very worried tonight going forward. What them call it, Pepto-Bismol, one of them when them use for heartburn and all of them things there, and get some sleeping medication and things like that. You are going to need them, because I'm telling you, 2024 is not going to be kind to you. 2024 is not going to be kind to you. You see the panel right, so? You see the panel? Look on Carlos. Carlos don't look like him is a man we take talk, you know. Right? Jeffrey Tavares look like him guitar. And we don't know how Dr. Francis can talk already, can see the letter. And Herb and I, we no kin teeth, we kick out teeth. So just prepare for a rough ride for 2024. And it's not a promise, it's a guarantee. All right? It's a guarantee. Prepare yourself for a rough ride. Debbie said, them just purchase a case of Pepto. Oh, I'm Pampers too. I'm Pampers. Mealax. There you go.
We're going to take some more calls before we go off air. Carlos, say what do you have to say, sir?
We used to beg them to stop, but now we stop begging.
Yes. The numbers to call is 954-529-8030. 954-529-8030. Call in and give us your input in what is going on in the land of food and water. And if you think that we're the one who's bringing down the country, tell us.
A long time we beg, we talk hard, we talk soft, we talk high, we talk low. A lot of you, how long will they pass social media?
Hold on for me. Good night, welcome to Jamaica.
Yeah, good night, panel, Jeffrey and everyone. The problem that I have is with people like Chopper John, who knows better, who in a situation can educate people, still misleading people. That's why only nation lack information. Why playing politics when the information is yet to educate the people for us to do better as a nation, rather than hiding the truth from the people because of political affiliation.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good night, welcome to Jamaica Talk.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Yes, turn the TV down in the background for me, please.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
I just want to say thank you to all you guys on the panel. You guys have been doing an awesome job. Dr. Francis, I definitely will. I know you're the GOAT. You didn't draft it alone, but we thank you. You're a man of principle. We want to get back to that Jamaica. We want our kids to grow up the way we grow up from the 70s, the 60s. We want a better Jamaica. And you were the bravest one to put your name on it. I know you said other people do it, but thank you. Thank you. I see hope in what you just did. And I can sing on the rooftop that from I heard that letter was out, I was like, yes, God, my nieces and my nephew have a chance. If we go out now and do that protest and let these people, JLP or PNP, whoever is going to be in the next government, we're not tolerating corruption. No more corruption. We're tired of it. And now I walk with my head down in America. Not that the happy Jamaican speak anywhere I want to speak with people. No, because people are looking at us like, yeah, this is the corrupted country. Tired of it. So Dr. Francis, I feel your pain. And for that young man to come out and talk all those nonsense, and Carlos, thank you for highlighting the letter that he didn't have the courtesy or the decency to type his own letter. You have to paste and copy and do all of that nonsense to show you that they don't care about Jamaica. It's all about the money, as you said, Carlos. It's all about, we don't want to stop the donor fund because what? They're chipping it away in their pocket. They're chipping it away. All of it is not going to Jamaica. So we just want a better Jamaica. I don't hear nobody come on and say anything about JP and PNP tonight. I just hear we love with Jamaica. Look on the barrel behind Ratty. We want to see better fence, white fence, pretty fence. Thank you, Rattigan. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Dr. Francis. Thank you, man. Thanks for the hard work. Ratty keep burning the fire and our Pepto-Bismol. We're sorry for them. Then they can go a bush that time. It can't go all that diarrhea that when they come upon them. Don't stop burning the fire, Ratty. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Really appreciate the sentiments.
Welcome back to talk. Hello, good night.
Hello?
Herb T then.
Yes, sir. You hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm asking a few questions to the panel. Hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead and ask the question, sir. Good night. Welcome to Make a Talk.
Good night to the big man, them. The man I will look out for Jamaica. Big respect, Dr. Francis. I appreciate you what you did, sir. And all the panelists, them, right? You guys are doing an extremely great job pointing out how Jamaica over time has been corrupted by these politicians. We have seen the light now. Thank you, guys. Dr. Francis, where with you, man? You haven't seen me and Rupert too, you know. That's how we do it. Thank you, sir. Ratty, you kick out teeth. A long time you have warned about Miss FARA, you know. A long time. And they didn't take heed. But then Belly go around Pepto-Bismol and Pampas. Respect, sir. Much respect from Mr. Tavares. Mr. Nelson, you're the big man. Jamaican Carlos, big respect. Respect you guys. I'll start listening to you guys about 3 months now. I'm going to tell them if you tune in, brethren. I'm so happy that Jamaica has seen the light. These are men who have Jamaica at heart. The people of Jamaica, not about themselves. The people of Jamaica. One love. Big up on myself. Dr. Francis, we love you like how Jesus loved little children. Big up respect. Thank you so much. And I continue to watch. Me and Rupert Palmer. I'm from Clarendon, Silent Hill. I'm in love with him. I live in Atlanta. I'm in love what's going on. God bless you, sir. Keep the good work going. Love on the brethren. Enough respect. Not one love. Yeah.
One love. Thank you.
The numbers to call is 954-529-8030. Good night. Welcome to Make a Talk. Hello, good night.
Hello.
Can I help you? Good night. Welcome to Make a Talk.
Yeah, I just finished talk. We just finished talk.
Sorry. The numbers to call is 954-529-8030. 954-529-8030. This is the Make a Talk program. And we have our distinguished panel here. Herbert Nelson Jr., Wilfred Rattigan, the man himself, the man of the hour, Rupert Francis, Dr. Rupert Francis, and my good friend, Jamaican Carlos. Carlos, and tell us what you think about what we're doing, and what do you think about what we just said. Well, Rattigan, you can hear the passion in the voice of the Jamaican people when they call it. And the hurt.
Yeah, man, there's a genuine outburst of love and affection for the work where Dr. Francis is doing and will continue to do. And we hope and pray that the Almighty will continue to give him long life and strength to continue to be our effective leader. Because what him do is, I don't know, easy thing for do. Because, I mean, I'm sure he must have estimated or anticipated that the weight of the Jamaican government would be coming down on him. And when I say Jamaican government, I mean by extension, their supporters as well. And this man is weathering the storm. But we're not going to make him, we know him back broad, but we're not going to make him alone weather the storm. We cannot do this. Jamaica. He must fight for Jamaicans living in and outside of Jamaica.
Yes. Sir. Good night. Good night. Welcome to Make a Talk. Good night. Welcome to Make a Talk. Yes, sir. Good night.
Yes, sir. I'm calling from Jamaica. You hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I'm calling from Jamaica. I want to ask the panel there. I'm living in Jamaica here. And all of what you guys are saying, it's a different thing to me in Jamaica. I haven't heard of any corruption with the government. Can you all answer for me? Because what you feel when you bring down Jamaica, you bring down the people, you know. It is not the government you bring down, you know.
You hold a minute for me now. Because
I'm ready.
You have been calling this program and saying this thing over and over. Let me make something clear to you.
But
listen to me, sir. We're With all due respect,
take your time, your boss. So you are going so.
With all due respect, listen to me.
Yeah, I'm listening.
When 5 o'clock news come on nationwide and other and TV stations and so forth, do you listen to the news, sir?
But it is not. Yes, I listen to news, but it is not. It is not everything all negative about Jamaica. We are living good. People are working, and look here. The Prime Minister will win. You know, whatever I want to do, you know, he will still win the election.
But hold on a second. Jeffrey, let me say something to him now. Sir, good night. What we are talking about at this point, you know, sir, is not about an election, you know. We're talking about a prosecution. We're talking about having these people go to prison. That's what we're talking about. So it's two different issues. You're talking about election now. If you notice tonight, we're talking about the FARA, the Foreign Agents Registration Act, and we're talking about the Magnitsky Act. Those are not election issues. Those are prosecution issues. Those are prison issues. That's what we're talking about.
Let me make something clear to you, Mr. Rattigan. Is this gentleman who called in here? He's the one who called in and said Andrew will always win. He was set up by the Labour Party to call this program all the time.
If my father were alive, my father does say, "I win 9 pounds." That's what my father does say.
Yes.
Hold
on there. Dr. Francis.
Yeah.
Mr. Chopper is saying that you can't justify the letter.
Chopper is saying I can't justify the letter. What do you mean by that? Chopper, what do you mean by that?
Chopper,
because
I'm invited to call the program Chopper.
You call the program Chopper because
Ask the question. Ask the question. You're not gonna come on here and have a big discussion, you know. Just call the program, ask the question, and hang up.
Yeah, ask the question because, to be quite honest, you know, Chopper is in a different zone, you know. Chopper is in a chopper zone. I don't know, maybe that is in Mars or Jupiter or somewhere, but I am in the Jamaican zone, Chopper. Stop, man. Take off the die-hearted business and talk reality. Right? We're not comfortable. You comfortable. You are right. You understand me? You know where your money coming from. You know where your business and you know your friends and colleagues. Okay? So you know?
Hold on for me. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. Him know, you know. Anybody who come and say these things, they know what is happening. Okay? Rather man in Labour Party called Singer Man, you know. And, you know, Singer Man was sing for, you know, right, for Labour Party. Oh, my God, that guy was so devoted. Right? And him lived and literally died in there. I mean, you know, just because him is a, you know, but he's a patriot. But the fact of the matter is that you can't go tell Singer Man anything about Labour Party. So this is what Chopper is. Chopper is
good night. Welcome to Make a Talk.
Good night.
Yes, turn off the TV in the background, please.
Okay, let me move away from it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And just why are you inviting Chopper? You know Chopper don't talk nonsense and it holds no water. Tonight we're not talking about politics and I don't want you to go there with them.
Okay.
It's not about politics. This is about doing what's right, moving forward for the country. So when you invite Chopper to come talk nonsense, Chopper is only coming on the program to talk about JLP doing. That's not what we're talking about tonight. Don't get it twisted. We're talking about who we're going to hold accountable for all the wrong deeds and all the wrongdoing, all the money laundering, all the stuff them that Urban and Ratty talk about. That's what we're holding these pounds accountable for. Because them are chop and them are thief and the Jamaican people must suffer. This man just called, you can say, I mean, I tell you about the Jamaican people, you know. Him alright, as Dr. Francis is saying, he's okay. But what to the lesser part to let them? When I get no help, when they're hungry, no nutritious food, the wealthy them are got in bed and throw away food when some Jamaican don't have. When you're thinking of yourself about me, alright, what about the less fortunate? No work, no
them here, a young lady said she come out of UE and a call center work. She said you get a call center work within an hour of applying. And then the career jobs then that she applied for, then now call her back. So come on now, man. We're not talking about parties tonight. We're talking about what's right, the morality, the credibility, people who, like what's going on in Parliament. Like, we need to get rid of that. We just need clean-hearted people. As Dr. Francis is saying, stop the bangarang what they want. We need people to look from afar and say, boy, we want to replicate Jamaica standard. Singapore come and replicate what we used to do back then. Michael Manley set the trend. Morality, integrity, and credibility. That's what we want back. We can't rape them get banger. All the criminal and thief them and the people who think say, oh, they're above the law and they walk with them test high. We can't wait for America to take them visa and show them say them are nobody. They can be the biggest done in Jamaica. But when we get to them, because no stone now left unturned, it's a crumble. Roma fall. And they leave it up in their yard. As Rattigan said, kick out teeth. So nobody don't come from the club and talk about no politics. What's the solution? We are looking for resolution and solution here tonight. Thank you guys. Again.
Thank you. No. It's people like Chopper, the black and delete them. Because I believe that I know other people on them show different, but I'm gonna tell you what happened. My experience with people like these. You see the show turn, one man come confuse the show. One man. And people like this have no heart. I've done video me talking about people sleeping on the hospital floors in Jamaica because they are so die-hearted in the politics. They turn against the people who are sleeping on the floor. And them family no come get them out of the hospital. Them not feel no empathy, no sympathy, no mercy because of politics. Some of us heart are very hard. For people like this, the black and delete, I don't know where you're entertaining this brother that's look at nobody paying attention, confusing the energy. That's all I have to say. Why is he here and get paid? Or you're the man named Chopper John. You didn't talk about him in Parliament. Chopper John for the chopping block. Paid operative. Why is he here? We know say your show still. I'ma love you.
No, fellas. My show is your show. My show is Rattigan show. My show is Herb Nelson show. My show is Dr. Rupert Francis show. Let me make something clear this afternoon or this evening here. I know a lot of people have blocked people from coming on their program. I don't think I should do that thing yet. I don't think I'm going to do it. Let us continue talking. What we need to do, as our caller said, is just concentrate on the topic that we're talking about. And what the lady said a while ago, let's concentrate on the topic we're talking about.
She was right. She was right. The lady was right.
For those who want to call in, you can call 9. We're going to wrap up anytime, so we can call 954-529-8030. Mr. Nelson, you have something to say, sir? I know you're doing some research in the background there. Unmute your mic for Mr. Herb. Mr. Herb, unmute your mic. Yes, go ahead.
Is it unmuted?
Yes, it is. Go ahead.
Okay, Ratty, the fine, I was right. In 2021, Congress revised the fines under FARA, right? And it's now punishable by fines of not more than $250,000 US, not 10,000 or 15 that we were thinking before, and not more than 5 years in prison. All right, and you can look it up on the 22 USC 618A, 18 USC 3571. So in case you need a reference. And I am gonna put out in the chat the FARA office.
Yeah.
So that will be out there.
Good night. Yeah, man, I'm here listening to the program, and I'm really appreciative of what you guys are doing. A Jamaican who are really disturbing what is happening to my country. A couple of years ago, my mom was in the Kingston Public Hospital. She had a surgery to do, and these are the things that we want to see change in our country. My mom was beside the nursing station, and what they gave her for breakfast in the morning was one slice of bread and a tin of mackerel. They just flashed the mackerel out of the tin inside the plate, and that's what they were giving her. And my brother was asking her, what is that? And they said, go ask your government. And if we want to see prosperity and people having a better life in our country, we have to have programs like these. I used to listen to Dr. Gruden and all those people over the years. And since a few years ago, I stopped listening to them. And so I'm really happy for you guys, because you are bringing back something that Jamaican people wanted to hear. And I want to say to especially some of our Jamaican young people, middle-aged or middle class workers, people, is that they should, we spend so much time on social media listening and almost getting ourselves naked, to prove a point. And yet, programs like these, we don't even tune into them to get ourselves educated as to what is happening into our country. And I'm so happy for you gentlemen, and trust me, I'm behind you 100%. And whatever way I can do to support this program, I'm going to do that, because we want to see betterment for our country, because, it's not about JLP or PNP or whatever, no, P at all. We are Jamaicans first. And they need to understand that they work for us. They are not working for them. They work for us. We put them there to represent us at all different levels. And so they are accountable to us. And I'm really happy for what you guys are doing. Bless up, man.
Thank you very much for calling, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, man, every time.
For those out there who has never done this before, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Make We Talk Jeff Tavares YouTube channel. And also like, share, and subscribe to Reason Rattigan and others. Mr. Nelson, you have more information for us there before we go?
Yes.
Hold on. Good night. Welcome to Make We Talk.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Jeffrey. What go on? Yeah, man, bless up to the show. Yeah, man, I just wanna dig up the panel. Yeah, man, and dig up Mr. Jeffrey. Yeah, man, well done. My point is that I would like the listeners, the Jamaicans who are in the diaspora, not just to listen to the program and don't write these poison letters. We need as many as possible, right? So we can get the ball rolling, because this is long overdue. I mean, too much corruption in Jamaica, man. We can't get nothing done. People are suffering. There's two sets of laws, and we're just tired of it. So I'm pleading with the Jamaicans in the diaspora. Jamaica can't pick up your say, you're supposed to know with this voice, yeah. Anyway, I'm pleading with the Jamaicans in the diaspora abroad to write the letters. And I'm asking Mr. Rattigan again to please don't be scared. Give out the address and what they need to write. Can you repeat that, please, Mr. Rattigan?
Herbalist.
The address, we need the address, and we need what to put in the letter. The bullet point, and get the job done.
Okay.
That's all I have to say. Big up yourself. Thanks for the program.
Herb, you want to push it out to them, please? I think you put it out already, but I don't.
I did. Jeffrey, if you can do the FARA email address and the actual address.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. Hold on.
It won't let me do the email.
Oh, okay. Remember that the numbers to call is 954-529-8030. That's 954-529-8030. Call in, because we're gonna cut the program shortly. We have with us Wilfred Rattigan. Why are you laughing, Mr. Rattigan? Go ahead and talk.
Yeah, I'm heartened by the responses that we're getting, and I agree with everybody. And like I said last week, we should have a single-minded focus on ridding Jamaica of corruption and corrupt politicians. We don't have side mirrors and review mirrors. We have a windshield straight ahead. We're not gonna be distracted. And I like what the lady, and I know the lady. I like what she said, and I like what Carlos said and what everybody else said, that we're not going to be distracted by anyone. We're just gonna just keep going. And so I tell you, my family in the chat, whenever you see somebody come in and try to distract us, just ignore them. As long as they behave themselves. If they start using curse words and they're being nasty and rude, then it's up to the host. Will then have to do what's necessary. But if they show up and them express them.
Good night. Welcome to Make a Talk.
Good night. I just want to know, good night to you and your panel. I would like to know, I'm living in Canada. Can we also write that letter?
Yes. Yes, you can write the letter, because whatever the U.S. has, the Canadian government has the equivalent. And let me see if I can find it.
Okay, I'm not hearing you, Mr. Herb.
We'll put it out in the chat in a minute.
We're gonna put up in the chat room in a minute. And what he's saying that yes, whatever can be done in the United States can be done in Canada too.
Oh, okay. All right. I got the address. I got it from the chat. So thank you very much.
Canada has a Corruption of Foreign Officials Act. And
okay. Thank you.
Call to action.
Dr. Francis? Dr. Francis? Hold on. I know he has a long day today, so we're gonna wrap up in the time soon, but he can go if he wants to. Mr. Dr. Francis?
Yes, Jeffrey.
Yes. I know you had a long day today, so you can say your final piece and we can wrap up.
Well, hope it's not my final piece. I'll say my piece. But
your closing remarks then.
My closing remarks. Jeffrey can be final when I'm ready. But I want to tell everybody. I want to tell you, Jeffrey. Thank you very much for insisting that, because I've been at this thing from this morning. And this morning 6 o'clock, somebody has called me. I have 2 more calls. I was listening to my alma mater. They were having a little party online. I'm trying to do everything, and but I want to thank the callers. I want to talk you first. Jamaica Carlos. Well, I've met him yet, but I'm sure I'll meet him soon. Herb, of course, I can't. Herb is always there, and boy, I can't say enough about Herb. He's really the researcher par excellence. As for my brother, Ratty is always Ratty. I was rooting for him during Portia Simpson time. I just heard about him, and he was my picker. But of course, they thought different, and it's really sad, because not only because Portia herself, in my view, would have gone your way, but because people are afraid of what you stand for. That is the reason why this has come to that. But it has nothing to do. I mean, I've listened to you, and you can. There's no way, if anybody really just listens to what you say, how you say it, you really have Jamaica at heart. And everyone that I've said, I mean, I heard, and I said, listen, go back and listen again, and I say, you're right. And that's all it takes, that we really, anybody can be scrutinized, right? Jeffrey, when Jeffrey ready, we run all we run the devil, but we run other people out time him short of. But Jeffrey,
yes, we have to drive the Jeep and signal the plane.
No. We know that, but hold on, Jeffrey, you see, that's what I try to tell you. All me, Me and him always a catch up, ladies and gentlemen. Don't love him to death, but that's how it goes. But the point I'm making is this, that we are all solid, 1,000%, that we have to get rid of these things in our midst, as Carlos has just announced and so on, right? And everybody else. So I thank the callers and I thank the listeners. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Jeffrey Tavares thing, okay? Because that's the only way we can survive out there, to make sure that people are watching all the time. And do the same for Jamaica Legal Fund, right? You understand me? Very important, because you can't do anything without money. We're talking about protests, we're talking about this, we're talking about that. It takes, I hate, some people going to say me a labor right. But Mr. Siaga said it takes cash to care. I know, sir, some people don't want to hear it, but you take cash to care. Okay, and it's not politics. You understand me? It's not politics. I can talk about Michael Manley. Man, me I tell you, is the sweetest mouth I ever hear. That man couldn't charm the heart of a rat bat. Okay? My feelings in my mouth was done by D.K. Duncan. You remember him? Right? D.K. Duncan. Me and Peter Phillips was in the social development agency together. So let me just make it quite clear. My rep, I don't have to worry about my rep. Okay, thank you very much for the support. You make me feel much better today, and I can sleep better because of what you guys are doing. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. One love, one heart, one destiny.
Thank you for coming on, Dr. Rupert Francis. Thank you so much. We're gonna go in it. Mr. Rattigan, you want us to go now? We can continue until 1 o'clock this morning. Anyway, just kidding. My wife will kill me. My wife will kill me. And now we need to wrap up now. We were talking about
We'll get something for you.
Hold on, Dr. Francis. Mute your mic, Dr. Francis. Whoa. Talking about the mile and so forth.
Jeffrey, I put the UK out there.
Yes, I just did. I'm gonna post it in the chat now. I just did, yes. We
covered everybody: Canada, UK, and USA.
Right. And can you, Mr. Roger, can you refresh the people about the Pfizer and this what do you call it, pen again? Mr. Rattigan?
Yes, sir.
Can you, before we go, can you repeat, refresh the people's mind about is it the Pfizer, FARA? FARA, yes.
Yeah. Yes, people. FARA and some folks remembered me saying that from last year, that it's something that we should be mindful of, and they have not been mindful of it. And so there comes a time when you have to suffer the consequences, when your ideas. And the FARA is going to put a chilling effect on this, if not close down this foolish organization, this organization that's controlled by the government of Jamaica. People, you cannot have your organization controlled by the government, where the government can fire you if them, get rid of people if they want, and they control the agenda. And listen, like I said in my opening remarks, 20 hours ago? No, I'm just joking, Jeffrey. A few hours ago, that you don't hear the issues raised by Dr. Rupert Francis. You don't hear our so-called representatives raising them. They haven't raised them. They're more concerned about being invited to the embassy or the high commissions. They're more concerned about who they socialize with, the party scene and just the influence. And some people just love being around power, right? But we're letting them know that the power is with the people. That's the power we're talking about, right? And they're not representing the people. So the people must now rise up and show these people that the power is with them. And I hope that we've done something tonight in terms of educating people, alerting them to the fact that there are laws. And now we're not talking about Jamaican laws where, people say, oh, yeah, no, I'm going away for Jamaica because, the judges and blah, 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 blah. People say all of those things. No, it's in the American system. And Uncle Sam has a long reach. And some people might say, well, it's kind of, it's kind of heartless because the things that we're asking are that we will ask the government to do, the U.S. government and the other governments, that it will hurt the people of Jamaica. It can't hurt them no more than it hurt them already. Cannot hurt them no more because now them people knows the people are watch them. Them new people are watch them. And I'm telling you, between the FARA Act will take care of the people here. The ones, can you vote in 2 countries? Yeah, they can. You can vote if you register to vote in Jamaica and you have dual citizenship, and or even if you don't have dual citizenship, well, yes, because you have to have a U.S. citizenship to vote in America, in American election. So yeah, if you're have dual citizenship, then you can. Rattigan fight. Oh yeah, folks, don't forget tomorrow afternoon at 3, tune in to Reason with Rattigan. It's gonna be dynamic because tomorrow we're gonna talk about the year in review. And we're also going to talk about who is Dr. Francis. People see him, but them don't know him. And then I have a special. I'm working on it tonight. Hopefully I can get it finished, and a special treat for all of you tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be an exciting program like the other programs. So just tune in. All your favorite personalities will be there. Jamaican Carlos, Jeffrey Tavares, Dr. Francis, Herb Nelson, Lonesome Maria. I think Dr. John, I'm not sure if he'll make it. He said, he's not sure. Last week, by the way, last week I did invite him and he wasn't able to because he had a family event. So that's that. But it's going to be exciting tomorrow. But just getting back to the FARA, yes. So the FARA will take care of the people here. They'll take care of them. Who has to go to prison and pay that $250,000 fine? Then they'll just have to do it. And it's $250,000 US dollars up to. Right? They'll have to just pay that. And I'm depending on all of you out there, the people doing the poison pen letter. I'm depending on you. And then the other one, the Magnitsky Act. That one now will take care of the people in Jamaica. The politicians. That will take care of all of the corrupt politicians, the kleptocrats, all of those people stealing money from sources that have been pledged to the Jamaican people, stealing from those sources. They're gonna face judgment. The FBI has what they call an international corruption unit. And I've said it many times before. Some of you have watched the programs. You've heard me say the units are based in Miami, DC, New York, and LA. The unit out of Miami, the squad out of Miami, they cover the Caribbean. And if they need assistance, then it can be driven, that initiative can be driven out of Washington, DC. So that particular program, that will help in terms of looking into the background of some of these politicians and doing what's right. Now, I won't go into, there are certain things that I can't talk about, and there are certain things I won't talk about. But suffice it to say that we will be working in tandem with the lawmakers. So we're going to make sure that the agencies, they do what they're required to do by law. We're not asking for any favors. We're just asking them to do what's required by law. And if they do what's required by law, we are supremely confident that some of the people you see running around now, maybe the 6, in the fullness of time, they will face justice in an American court where they'll have no influence. They'll be seen just as anybody else, innocent until proven guilty. And based on what we know, based on the information we have, again, we are confident that they will be found guilty and they'll do their time here, and their ill-gotten gains, what the Integrity Commission has failed to do, the U.S. government will not fail to do it. So there'll be forfeitures and there'll be seizures. And when everything is done, they'll lose everything and have to start from the bottom like everybody else. But when they start from the bottom the next time around, they will be watched. They will be watched. So, folks, that's it for me. Tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m., Reason with Rattigan. Everybody will be there. Year in review and other topics. Thank you for having me, Jeffrey. Much appreciated.
Carlos, your final word, 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Just want to say thank you guys in the panel, the guys in the chat. You guys are watching and listening. Thank you guys for tuning in, right? Because we are nothing without you guys. You know that, right? We are nothing without you guys. And thanks for Jeffrey to having me on the show. Will Rattigan, you know, the hardworking man, and Herb, and bless up to Dr. Rupert. Thank you for going out there on the limb and grab the steering of this bus. And I know that we are right next to you. If you're ever tired, you know, you need an ex-driver, you know, we are here, his support. So, what I want the people to know, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Remember, the U.S. Embassy and the British High Commission just told us that to fight corruption in Jamaica, it's all in our hands. They depend on us. So this call to action moment, I'm see you guys are very enthused and excited about the information Ratty and Herb is giving out. So it seems as if you guys are ready to work. It seems like you guys are being called to act tonight. I'm proud of you guys. I know you Jamaican people gonna jump in at this. You guys are feeling the energy. I've seen people in Jamaica say, we want to march to man. Oh, no, people say in Jamaica they want to march, but you guys arrange this thing and the old people got to do this. Worldwide people are asking about this stuff. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country now. All right, so this is call to action. And you know how this is. It was easy for Dr. Francis to go out there and do this. You see the pushback and the clap back him get. You hear him say, tonight, him go sleep a little bit better. Dr. Francis, if I never hear you say that, but if I go find your yard tonight and make sure you're all right. But anyway, thank you, Jeffrey, for having me. People, check out Jamaican Carlos TV. Tomorrow I'll be on Will Rattigan program. We're going to keep the fire burning. None of them can't sleep tonight, or any of them get up, the whole place wet up.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Francis. So Nelson, your words of departure, please. Your wrap-up word.
Yeah, you know, I'm very practical, especially on a night like tonight where people want action. So I put a note here. You can see Jeffrey, the last one. Yeah. Dear FARA supervisor, so that's the supervising agent. Yeah. Please allow me to indicate to you that several Jamaican citizens have been collecting unchecked funds over the past couple of years and forwarding them as assistance to Jamaica. Please examine this activity. That's all I have to say. Sincerely, and sign it. I don't think you need to be an investigator to lay out a case or anything like that. Right?
What is
and if they get upset, you know, well, they can beat up on her. I can defend myself. But if they are anxious to do it, Carlos, you can put this out.
I would ask the audience have access to your chat when it's done. I have to go back and put it in the message, Jeffrey.
No, man, they have access to when it's done.
Chat. No, when it's over, when it's done, this chat is done.
Yes, they have access to it. They do.
Yeah. So Jeffrey can copy that and put that out. But folks, look, it's been a pleasure as usual speaking to this audience, because this audience is very supportive and very intelligent, and I don't have to tell you twice what needs to happen. I don't want you to forget the One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation either. That's very important. We should somehow flash it up if you have it, Jeff. But if you don't have
I
it,
don't have it, you know. What I need to
maybe
do,
Ratty can give.
I told Ratty
the
to
number.
do a video for me, you know.
Yeah.
Do a video for me. Anyway, go ahead.
But, you know, folks, my only kryptonite is if y'all don't do anything. And I know y'all going to do something. So we need to put the fear of God in people who are supposed to be God-fearing. Because if they don't have the fear of God in them, then they're somebody else. You know, you can't be evil all the time. You must have a conscience. You can't be thinking about yourself all the time. You gotta have a conscience. You Jamaica people who are weak, you Jamaica people who are not as well educated and not well off, they need our assistance. And we cannot leave them behind. We cannot walk by and not pay attention to their plight. We can't get rich. We can't accumulate $192 million with an $800 million project underway and decide that I'm going to get mine and you get yours whichever way you want to. That's not right. You need to reach out and help the least of us who needs the assistance. And there are a lot of people, folks, who need assistance. Because, you know, I get a lot of requests for help. And I'm trying to organize and do things the right way and to help as much as I can. But I'm sick and tired when everything that we try to do, whether we try to do it through football, netball, basketball, or we try to do it through community development events. The only thing that affects those events is corruption. And the corruption is too far gone right now in Jamaica for us not to take corrective action. But how can you take corrective action on something that's too far gone when you yourself are over the top? Where you are too far gone and you can't have no comeback because you think about selfishness. That ego won't let you look back and help your fellow Jamaican the way you're within 100 days was intended. So let's say within 100 days now, the new year, we're going to get a lot of things moving. And let's see where things, you know, roll the dice. Let's see what comes up. All right? Have a great night, folks. And thank you, panel members. You are solid people, let me tell you.
Unmute your mic, Ratty.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, let me just say one quick thing. And that is going back to what Dr. Francis did. The Prime Minister said before that we should, when he was in the opposition, he said we must hold the government accountable. That's what he said. And then the second thing I'd like to add is that just recently, the UK and the US came out with a joint statement saying Jamaicans will have to deal with the corruption problem. This is what it looks like when we deal with it. This is what it looks like. So kudos to Dr. Francis. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Before you all go, I need to listen to something here.
If we see corruption, unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad of the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth. Make we reason. Make we talk. And we don't care about no vum va viva va. no upper echelon. Nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk.
This is where I say so long from here for tonight. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Make We Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. And my final words this evening to everyone out there. For all those who has been our concern, the work goes on, the cause endure. The hope still lives, and the dream for a better Jamaica shall never die. May God bless you. May God bless Jamaica land we love. I want to say thanks to Herbert Nelson, Dr. Rupert Francis, Jamaican callers, and Wilfred Rattigan. Remember to join us tomorrow on the recent Rattigan program at 3 o'clock, when it's the year in review. Have a good night, everyone.
Big up on the
Good evening. Have a good one. You know what?
When the game.
Hello.
Sorry, Dr. Francis, what are you saying?
No, I was just saying that one of the things that they're saying is that they are number 4 on the world corruption list. And lack of corruption at best, you know. I don't know
Hold
who
on
we
for me.
keep it.
Let us cut this live and talk after. Hold on for me.
When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk,
okay, Jeff,
people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves